Victorious Pennsylvania posse, and they're always eager to teach the Outlaws a lesson. Who will come out on top? Schatz, Myers, Saldana, or the posse? It's the greatest show on dirt, the World of Outlaws Sprint Car Series, and it's next, live on Speed. A perfect autumn evening in central Pennsylvania, the ideal setting for a shootout between the World of Outlaws and the Pennsylvania Posse. Well before the transition of seasons from summer to fall, race fans and race teams began getting hyped for this night. It is annually the biggest sprint car event in the eastern United States, the 47th annual Cleveland Brothers Williams Grove National Open. Hello again, everybody, and welcome in. I'm Bobby Gerald alongside Sprint Car Hall of Famer Brad Doty, and we are fired up for what is arguably the biggest night of the season for the World of Outlaws Sprint Car Series. And what makes this night so prestigious? Well, $50,000 is going to go to the winner. That's number one. Number two is we've got a great points battle between Donnie Schatz, Jason Myers, and Joey Saldana. Let's talk about the National Open first, though. We mentioned those three drivers, but I think, Brad, you could throw in a dozen more Pennsylvania Posse guys, Outlaw guys that could win tonight.
Absolutely, Bobby. Every time we come here, we talk about how tough the Pennsylvania Posse is. Former World of Outlaws driver Greg Hodnett, now a PA Posse member, he won the May and the July World of Outlaws races here. In the May race, there was only one World of Outlaws driver in the top 10. In the July race, only two drivers were from the World of Outlaws in the top 10. So you never count out the PA Posse. They ambushed the Outlaws so far this year.
How about the points battle? Schatz, Myers, Saldana, who has the advantage tonight?
Well, you look at the stats, it has to be Donnie Schatz. He won 5 out of 7 coming into this year. In the last 4 National Opens, he's finished in the top 4 every time, and he has 2 wins. So you can't count that guy out.
Well, the points battle is exciting. Brad and I are fired up about it. How do the drivers feel about it?
It's down to the wire now. It's down to the wire to win this points championship. We got to put it all on the line. That's what we plan to do. It's kind of ironic that this type of a points race comes into the toughest weekend of the year.
I think it's pretty neat. I think usually in the World of Outlaws competition, it's usually one guy kind of goes out and wins all the races and wins the points. And it's usually been the case that the guy that wins the most races wins the points. And this year we kind of put a twist to that because the number 9's won a lot of races, won the most, but we're not leading the points. We're actually third. So that's just a testament to how consistent you have to race out here on this circuit. And for us really to have a shot at it, you don't wish bad luck on anybody, but definitely someone's going to have to help the other person out if they're going to win this thing. So hopefully we're the ones that are helping out and we come out on top.
You don't get this opportunity every day to race for the championship. And the two teams that we're competing against for this are two of the toughest, most well-funded teams in the circuit. And here we are, kind of this little private tier team kind of sandwiched in between them.
It is good for the series. It's not where we want to be, but right now it's our race to lose, and it looks like it's an uphill battle.
If you race good, the points will take care of themselves. And bottom line is you got to finish races too. You know, you don't necessarily need to win this weekend. You do need to run in the top 5, and you do need to finish. So we're going to go out here and give it all we got. And we came really close last year and fell off there a little bit at the end of the year, but we've actually come on here at the end of this year. And I think we got what it takes. I really do. Luck goes our way here a little bit. I think we can get it done, and we're looking forward to it.
Them guys have run pretty hard the last month with the consistency Joey's had and Jason's had too. And man, that corner's got to turn. You know, I don't think I've ever been able to keep a pace like that. So it's definitely going to go the other way sooner or later.
Well, Donnie Schatz referencing how hot Saldana is. Saldana has not finished out of the top 8 since August 1st. He is on a roll. But let's look at at those three here at the Grove, Brad. Donnie Schatz, you see the wins. 15 wins for Schatz. Myers has never won here. Saldana only has 1 win. Then let's look over at that last column. A-Mains, that's A-Mains started. Schatz 67, the best among the 3 contenders. But how about down below? Todd Schaefer, the Williams Grove points leader. He's run 454 A-Mains here. That gives you some idea of the home track advantage that the Posse guys have.
And Todd Schaefer is one of the PA Posse. Yes, they run here every Friday night. So these guys that run here weekly, they usually do. They try to have an advantage. And boy, this year so far, again, we talked about in the Open, they have had the advantage.
Todd Schaefer, just one of the Pennsylvania Posse guys to worry about as far as the Outlaws are concerned. A couple more we're going to hear from right now. Let's go down to Aaron Crocker-Evernham, who's standing alongside one of the young hot shoes.
Cody Dara represented the PA Posse really well last year, won this event. Do you think you have what it takes to win it again tonight?
I believe so. You know, we got some good equipment here, and these guys working on this thing are phenomenal. You know, so you know, it's really going to be up to me and keep my head straight. You know, I got a lot of faith in my guys here and a lot of confidence. You know, that means everything. We got a good motor program, and that means a lot for here at Williams Grove. You know, we won this deal last year, but you know the Outlaws weren't here, and this is definitely going to make you step up your game anytime they come and the big money's on the line. It's definitely going to be a tough deal.
20 years old and you've got a lot of wins, 5 wins this season. Rumors have it that you might be switching over from the PA Posse, going on the road with the Outlaws. What are your thoughts on that? Do you have any plans set?
Yeah, I don't know. Nothing's in stone yet. You know, it'd be a dream to be able to run with the World of Outlaws all year. Just because you'd be around guys that do this for every day, all day. You know, would just be an absolute dream. But right now, nothing's set in stone. But we're working at it to see if we can either land a ride or put a big sponsor on this thing to get her out on the road. You know, but just right now, we got to worry about tonight.
I'm sure Cody will be one to watch tonight. Shane, you have another member of the posse?
Thanks, Aaron. When the World of Outlaws come to town, everybody picks up their A game. Greg Hodnett, you have taken it to a different level this year. 2 races the Outlaws have come to Williams Grove. You have protected home turf. What do you got to do to make it 3 in a row?
We got to be really lucky and good enough to take advantage of it. Obviously, the pill draw makes a big difference. Tonight we have a pretty good one. Drew 5 out of 100, so we go out early. Hopefully our car's good. We can take advantage of it and put ourselves in position to be able to come away with a win. Both times before, we were in a position to be in a dash through the qualifying well, through the heat races, did well in the dash, move forward every time we hit the racetrack. Those are things we got to do, and if we can do that, I think we might have a shot.
This is a big race, the National Open. What would it mean to you to win this event?
Everything. This is the biggest race on the East Coast. I mean, this race has been around forever. This racetrack's been around forever. The guys that have won this race, Gordon Johncock, I mean, Steve Kinser's 4 or 5-time winner, Donnie Schatz, all these guys are great race car drivers. To have your name on the same list as those guys would be an insurmountable feat that I can only imagine what it would feel like.
Greg Hodnett looking to add his name to an impressive list of National Open winners.
So much history here, Brad, at this racetrack that opened in 1939, the first National Open in 1963, and you heard Hodnett. He knows the history. Gordon Johncock won that first race. Hodnett's a guy that the Outlaws fear.
Absolutely, and he's proven that this year. The guy's, it's a former World of Outlaws driver. He knows his way around a lot of racetracks, but especially here. And the history of this place, I just love coming to Williams Grove.
Well, hot laps underway. When we come back, we should be ready for time trials, the all-important time trials. Boy, you got to get locked into the top 16. Hang with us. You're watching the World of Outlaws on Speed. Welcome you back to Williams Grove Speedway. Big crowd, and I mean big crowd, on hand here tonight for this one, the 47th Williams Grove National Open. Qualifying is underway. We are just past the halfway point. Let's show you Donnie Schatz and Jason Myers. They came out in order back-to-back. Here's how it was just a few moments ago when Schatz hit the racetrack, Brad.
Down that long back straightaway, see the vapor trails off the wing. Car really a little tight right there, but he made a nice lap through that corner. But again, as many cars they have tonight, Bobby, they only get 1 lap in qualifying. Generally at the World of Outlaws, you get 2. So the pressure's on these guys big time tonight.
Schatz, everyone here in the field trying to get into the top 16. If you get into the top 16, that puts you in the front 2 rows of a heat race, and that's very advantageous. So the lap for Schatz on his first go-around was a pretty decent time. It ended up being a 16.724, and right now he is 12th fastest, and Jason Myers coming out right after him in the DD&I GLR Investments car number 14. Again, Myers 9 points behind Schatz in the battle for the championship. There are bonus points in qualifying. 5 points go into the fastest qualifier, 4 for second quick, and so on down till you get to 5th quick with 1.
Yeah, you have to be in the top 5 to get the points. A little surprised there. Jason Myers left a little bit on the table. The car's a little bit tight in qualifying, so not a bad run for as tight as that car looked.
Myers ended up in the 13th spot, so Schatz 12th, Myers 13th. Here's where it's at right now. Pat Cannon has quick time right now in the 3 car, followed by Greg Hodnett. Ed Lynch, you see on down the line how they're looking. Brian Monteith rounding out the top 10, and on the racetrack right now, it's Corey Haas in car number 11C. Corey has been a big winner in the 358s that run here alongside the 410s, limited sprint car division, but just recently he picked up his first 410 win at Lincoln Speedway, did Corey Haas.
You say 358, that is 358 cubic inches versus the 410 cubic inch sprint cars.
And let's go down now into the pits. Once again, here is Shane Andrews.
I'm down here in the 9-car pit of Joey Saldana. I'm with Willie Kane, his crew chief. Willie, a tight championship battle coming into this race. How important is this qualifying one lap for you and your team?
Yeah, it puts a lot of pressure on you. There's no room for mistakes. You just got to get a good lap and hope your car's close. And, you know, it is what it is. A lot of cars here, a lot of competition in Pennsylvania. So it's definitely tough, but we'll give her a go.
Could this one lap determine your championship outcome?
No, I don't think so.
All right, we're down here with Willie. We're going to send it to Aaron Crocker.
Donnie Schatz not only has a chance to increase his points lead tonight, but he also has the opportunity to make history. You and Steve Kinser are tied for 4 National Open wins. How do you feel about that tonight? How important is it?
I've thrown away the championship out of my mind right now. It's all about being here at the National Open. This is there ain't very many people that get on the upper side of the king, and tonight's an opportunity for me to get 5. This is 50 grand, 5 wins. I'm ready.
How important do you think your qualifying lap will be? How important is it to qualify in the top 16?
When we come here, I mean, you got to get yourself in that dash to be good here. We've come through the field really good, but tonight is fast right now, and there's a lot of guys up there that qualify good that probably aren't going to race that good. So I've never felt that good rolling around here qualifying before as I did tonight, and I'm 12th right now. So, hey, I feel good. If this thing's anywhere in the top 10, it's going to victory lane.
You hear that, guys? Back to you, Bobby and Brad.
Called his own shot there, Brad.
Confident guy. He should be the year he's had, but a lot of tough cars yet. We'll see if that time holds up.
Sammy Swindell just goes out, and although he was one of the quicker guys in hot laps, he goes a 16.901. That's 30th fast out of 44 cars that have attempted a time trial lap right now. So much pressure on you with just one lap to get it right, Brad.
Very much a lot of pressure, and you heard Aaron talk about wanting to be in the top 16 in qualifying. They invert basically 4 cars in each four heat races that we have tonight, so that's why it's so important. You want to be in those first 2 rows of the heat races.
And here comes Joey Saldana as Brian Ellenberger just finishes off his lap, and Joey Saldana coming out now. Ellenberger 33rd fastest. Can Saldana do what Jason Myers and Donnie Schatz have done already, and that is get themselves into the top 16? Schatz 12th, Myers 13th.
Looked a little tight through 1 and 2. The car took a pretty good push on him. That corner looks a lot better.
Saldana. Oh boy, 31st fast, 16.953. So Joey Saldana is not going to be in the front 2 rows of a heat race, and he just made it really tough for himself for the rest of the night. And again, a lot of that has to do with how narrow we anticipate the racetrack being during the heat races tonight. It's hard to pass, especially as equal as all these cars are.
Yeah, when you get the competition level that we have here at Williams Grove Speedway and the racetrack being fast like it is, it's very difficult to pass in those heat races, and it's almost critical to be up in those first couple of rows. And boy, Joey, that's not good. Williams Grove hasn't been his favorite racetrack. He'll admit that.
A.J. Michael was the last one to come out, and now out on the racetrack is Tim Kading in car number 83. They got the all-white look going here tonight for the National Open, the Roth Motorsports car number 83. This has been a racetrack that hasn't been Tim Kading's best track. He's 37th fast at a 17.090. The track's slowing down a little bit now, Brad?
Well, I don't know. I have to see it here. Now, this will maybe tell the tale right here. Todd Schaefer, we talked about him in the Open. The 430-some races he's run here and that kind of thing. Leading the points here at Williams Grove. So we see what kind of oh, big push right there, though.
Schaefer gets down to the checkered flag, and he too struggles. 35th fast at 17.075. So last few cars have had a problem getting into the 16-second bracket.
See, I don't think you can blame it all on the racetrack, though, Bobby, because usually as the race goes on, as qualifying goes on, the track gets drier and it slows down. It's maybe moving up a little bit, but you see some guys that the race car looks too tight to me, so maybe they anticipated the track slowing down. They tightened up their race cars, and they've outguessed themselves, or the moisture in the air could be bringing the track back where it's getting a little tighter.
Randy Bachman just finishing off his lap. He'll be 46th fastest with a 17.631. Here's a familiar name in a Pennsylvania car. Darren Pittman is out in car number 17 right now.
Has become a PA Posse member, sort of. Not sort of, he has this summer, and he won 2 out of 3 in one night here at the Grove.
And we'll see how Darren Pittman ends up. Darren 32nd quick And he just gets into the 16s at 16.953. So that top 16 pretty static right now. Here comes a guy who could change all of that.
Yeah.
It's Stevie Smith in car number 1.
I'm sorry about this. Will tell the tale right here. Stevie's usually a good qualifier. He knows this racetrack. See what kind of lap he can turn here.
Stevie grew up around these parts. His father, Steve Smith, the Black Bandit. And now the 43-year-old Stevie Smith. Wow, 17.097, 41st quickest. But we're getting down to the tail end here. We've probably got about 7 or 8 cars to go in time trials. Steve Kinser's biting his nails right now because he's 16th quick, sitting on the bubble at 16.772. Fred Raymer's yet to go out. Cody Dara still sitting over there in the staging area. Mark Smith is another guy who could possibly step up and give us a good lap.
Boy, Bobby, the track, if it is the racetrack, and it's so hard to tell from up here in the booth, it changed in a big hurry. I mean, it's almost like within a couple cars it seemed like it slowed way down. But again, maybe the cars, drivers and teams are just changing a race car, you know, anticipating what the track's going to do, and they're missing on the setup.
Scott Gherkin walking around the Quaker State number 11, driven by the king of the outlaws, Steve Kinser. Steve recognized as the greatest sprint car driver of all time, the 20-time World of Outlaws champion. And, you know, Steve's not a guy who's going to make any excuses at all, Brad, but we know that this year he's been racing at less than 100% physically for the last few weeks at least.
Yeah, he's a neck injury, basically, that has been plaguing him here lately, and he'll admit it's not the season he's had you know, hoped for, but you know, it's winding down, and that's all he can look for, I guess, is to come back next year.
Steve Kinser this year with 3 wins. That's his lowest total for his career. Even in his rookie season, he won more than 3 feature events. Out on the racetrack right now, it's Tim Gladfelter in car number 39T. The Trone racing team bringing out a couple of cars. They've got Brent Marks and Gladfelter going here tonight at the Williams Grove National Open as we're in the tail end of qualifying. Pat Cannon is your quick timer right now at 16.368. It doesn't look like anyone's going to threaten that. What we're really keeping an eye on right now is whether or not Steve Kinser's time of 16.772 will be able to hold up.
Uh-oh, problems for Cody Dara.
Well, that's not good as he's come to a stop. The young man that we heard from right off the top of the show with Aaron Crocker-Evernham interviewing him. Let's go back down to Aaron.
Joey Saldana mentioned earlier that qualifying in the top 16th was going to be key. Currently, you're 31st quick. How do you feel? Do you think that's going to be all right? You can be able to come back?
I doubt it. I mean, this is going to be a tough field of cars, and it's going to be tough to pass here. We just didn't qualify well, so we just have to figure out our race car and get better for the heat race.
With 18 wins on the season, I'm sure he'll put together a good show.
No question about it, Aaron, but he's got his work cut out for him. You know, one of the things that could be a saving grace is that they're going to run a makeup feature when everything's all done tonight, so maybe Joey will have a chance to make up some points in that one. He'll be starting on the pole of the dash. More about that a little bit later. We are in time trials right now. Will the King's time hang on? He's 16th quick. We're coming back with more from the Grove. We're back at Williams Grove, and Cody Dara has been pushed off, and he's got that thing fired up, Brad, although if you listen closely, I'm not sure that well, maybe it is all right. Armor all on car camera. It's not all right. I thought I did hear something.
Yep, you can hear the motor sputtering as it goes through the corners. Listen here, right there.
Boy, look at that left rear or left front dance.
You know, and that's not the driver moving his hands. The driver's pretty much, his hands are locked in one position. That's just the flex and the drag link, the steering box itself, and you see those tires bouncing like that, but he's got to be very frustrated. You need everything, all the horsepower you can get under the hood when you qualify here at the Grove.
And he did go 16.970. Shane Andrews with the King.
Steve Kinser, you're 16th right now on the bubble. I have to ask, does the King ever get nervous?
Well, yeah, I mean, qualifying makes a lot here. If you fall back to 17, it pretty well ruins your night. Felt like we beat it quick as time as we could. We went out. Let's see what happens.
The waiting game down here in the 11 pit.
Oh, he's waiting it out right now, still holding steady at 16th fast, and we are down to the very tail end of qualifying. I believe just a couple more to go out, but they are a couple of the best guys in Pennsylvania Posse country here in central Pennsylvania. It'll be Fred Raymer in the 51 car coming out next. He's the winningest driver in the history of the Speedway, Brad.
Yeah, it sure is, and I don't know how many championships he has here, but definitely Steve Kinser is nervous, especially about this car right here, the 51 car, Fred Raymer.
8 championships at Williams Grove Speedway for Fast Freddie Raymer, a Hall of Famer in car number 51. And And here he comes, 51 years old. He's added 2 more Williams Grove wins this season, including last Friday when he stole one from Steve Buckwalter.
But the car, again, pushing really bad. You see those left front tires turn to the left like that. That means the car's tight and scrubbing off some speed.
Raymer digging for traction off of turn number 4 down the front straightaway as the King looks on. Oh, Raymer close. 18th quickest, 16.782. Kinser's a 16.772. So by 1/100th of a second right now, that's the difference between those two. And here comes Mark Smith. This is the last qualifier out, trying to bump Steve Kinser out of the top 16.
Mark Smith, another local guy that could get it done if everything goes his way.
Still looking here to see where Mark Smith wound up on the time trial list. He ended up 25th. Mark Smith 25th at a 16.848. So Steve Kinser looks safe with 16th fastest time, and he can breathe a little easier.
I was going to say, somebody go down there and tell him he can breathe now.
Well, Steve Kinser's down there hanging around Scott Gherkin, and you just saw him walk out of the Quaker State hauler. If you ever wondered what all is in one of those haulers, well, we're going to show you right now. That is the focus of our Quaker State 410 Insider.
I'm Scott Gherkin, crew chief for Steve Kinser's number 11 World of Outlaw Sprint Car team. This is how we transport our equipment up and down the road 10 months of the year. Come on inside and take a look. To start with, we have 2 spare cars complete upstairs. When you're away from home as much as we are, you never know what kind of situation you may be in. Another thing we always have an ample supply of is rear tires. On the bottom are the right rears, on the top are left rears. We have various compounds, staggers, because you never know in a night of racing what we may need. This side of the trailer is 3 spare complete engines ready to go in the car. This is a Lista cabinet full of a lot of the small parts, nuts, bolts, spare hoses, fuel system parts, torque tubes. This cabinet has front ends, spare rear end. A lot of these front end parts get damaged through the night. They need to be replaced fairly often in the event of a crash. Wings are a big part of this series. We carry 3 spare top wings with us at all times and a spare nose wing. So as you can see, preparation is critical to be a successful World of Outlaws team. And our transporter lets us do that.
Very good job there by Mr. Gherkin. And when we come back, we will be talking with our fastest qualifier, try to show you his lap, tell you everything about the top 16 as we get set for heat racing here at the Cleveland Brothers National Open from Williams Grove Speedway. Welcome you back this Thursday. Don't miss Barrett Jackson live from Las Vegas. This is the world's greatest collector car event. See the best high rollers bid on their dream cars. Barrett Jackson begins Thursday, 6 p.m. Eastern, live from Las Vegas, only on Speed. We want to show you our Quaker State quick timer for the night, and maybe a little bit of a surprise, but probably to the folks from around central Pennsylvania, they're probably not surprised that Pat Cannon got it done.
You said earlier, has won a lot of races here in a 358, and been pretty successful in the 410. Went out at a good spot on the racetrack. The engine was hitting hard. He did a really good job picking the right line on the racetrack.
7 feature event wins, all coming in the 358s this season for the 2008 Selinsgrove 358 champion, Pat Cannon. Let's go down to Shane Andrews, who's standing by with the quick time.
Pat Cannon, the Quaker State fast timer here at the Williams Grove Speedway. You're the fastest out of 60 of them. Tell us about your ride.
It was beautiful. Just car rolled in great, drove off the corner straight. Just cool to get a fast time award. I mean, we got to start back in the heat a little bit, but it always helps to qualify well, and we'll see what we got the rest of the night.
A little extra special for you, too, your first 410 fast time.
Yeah, it's always cool. We got a 361 earlier here this year, and now we got this one tonight. So we got a long night ahead of us, and hopefully this is just a sign of better things to come.
Pat Cannon is the Quaker State fast timer. Aaron Crocker Evernham, you're with the Wild Child.
Jack Cottonchild was 8th quick, fastest of the World of Outlaw drivers. He just told me that he hasn't won, or he won a few races here back in the day. You think tonight might be the chance to get you back in victory lane here?
I hope so. Car felt good tonight qualifying. We got out early. That kind of helped us. But the R19's been feeling pretty good the last few races, so we should be all right.
Noticed that you guys just changed wings. What was that for?
Yeah, we've been trying a few different wings for the end of the year here to kind of see what we like. And The wing we had on, we're just going to try a different one.
It's amazing what these cars do aerodynamically and how much the wings affect them. Back to you guys.
Thank you, Aaron. Jack Audenshield mentioned his last win here at the Grove. It was in 1997. Brad, you'll remember in Jack Eldon's number 22, the Pennzoil sponsored machine. So it's been a long time. 0 wins and 63 A-main starts, though, so far this year for Hod. He's still looking for his first feature event win. Here's your top 16 in qualifying. Pat Cannon, Greg Hodnett, Ed Lynch Jr. Lynch, not, even though he's from Pennsylvania, not really considered a posse guy because he's from Western PA. Aaron Ott, Dave Ely, Brian Leppo, all posse guys. Chad Layton, a posse guy. First outlaw, Jack Hodenshield. Brooke Tatnell kind of picking and choosing his races. Brian Monteith, a member of the Pennsylvania posse. Paul McMahon doing a good job in the Indy race parts. Tom Book, number 13. Donnie Schatz, Jason Myers, Daniel Lasowski, Jim Siegel, and Steve Kinzer. And again, we want to reinforce that really 16th is exactly where you want to be in this format. You know, it would be nice to qualify first because you get those 5 bonus points toward the championship. But if you can't do that, you might as well be 16th because now you're on the pole of the heat race.
Pole of the very first heat race for Steve Kinzer, so you got to get in the top 2 to get in the dash. Good spot.
And that's why Donnie Schatz was so confident earlier. He said, put us in the top 10, we'll drive it to the win. We're going to find out. Heat races coming up right after this. Fast Freddy's down there talking it out. Tonight, the Warriors of Formula One return to the land of the rising sun and back to Suzuka, battleground of destructive speeds. Fantastic finishes and championship dreams. Don't miss Formula One, the Japanese Grand Prix, live tonight at 12:30 a.m. Eastern, only on Speed. A big crash by Timo Glock. You're going to want to see the highlights of that one. Let's go down to Shane Andrews once again.
Jason Myers, you are in the thick of a very tight points battle. You time trialed 13th. You happy with that?
Well, that's the only time I'm ever happy with the number 13. It's, you know, in our format, you need to be top 2 or you need to be about 13 through 16. So we're right where we need to be here tonight. We need to run top 2 in this heat race and then hopefully Lady Luck's on our side for the dash draw.
I'm sure you came into tonight, put a game plan together. Right now, everything falling in the way you want it to?
You know, as far as what we can control, I wish I could say I tried to qualify 13th, but, you know, we didn't. We tried to put the best lap down we could, and so far it's gone our way. So the biggest thing tonight, we don't need to win the race. We just need to finish up front. We just need to get them valuable points and stay in the race.
Take it away, Aaron Crocker.
Ed Lynch has won just about everything there is to win in Western Pennsylvania, but do you consider yourself part of the Pennsylvania posse?
Well, I think when I do well, they consider me part of it. They'll adopt me. But no, it's Pennsylvania, but still running well here is tough to do. But you have to stand on the gas all the way around, and these guys are all hungry. 60 cars.
Yeah, well, you were third quick out there. How do you feel about the feature? How have you run here historically?
Well, you have to put the full package together like any outlaw race. You have to really be on top of your game and be fast every time you hit the track. So the ideal thing is to get from 4th to the first 2 to be in the dash to start well here, because I think you know the rabbit out front is going to be the way to go.
Hopefully Ed Lynch can put in victory lane and be part of the posse tonight.
Yeah, we'll see if they claim them, Brad. How were your experiences racing here at the Grove? I know that these fans are absolutely fanatical about sprint car racing.
Boy, they really are. You know, we talk about the sprint car fans and how great they are, but they're fanatical. That sums it up right there. Very vocal. They'll boo their drivers week in and week out until the Outlaws come to town, and just like Ed Lynch Jr., it depends how well you would do. The crowd will be behind you, or they could boo you. You just never know.
Not a penny loafer fester among them out there, you know what I'm saying? There's Joey Saldana checking out his race car. He's in deep thought right now. Man, he is going to be in the 5th row of heat race number 1. Come on back. Cars being pushed out now for the first of 4 heat races, and we'll have a lot more on that. But let's talk a little bit about this racetrack, Brad, with our Fusion Energy Shot Track Fact. It's a half-mile oval, but tell me more. You've raced here.
Well, 12 degrees in the corners. You can see it there in the track record. It's very fast, but a little misleading, that half mile. This half mile has the longest straightaways of any half mile the World of Outlaws race on. That's what makes this place so unique. These long straightaways in a tight corner, especially in turns 3 and 4.
Well, there are a lot of people associated with the World of Outlaws Sprint Car Series powered by Quaker State that are right from this area, and one of them is standing down alongside Shane Andrews right now.
Lucas Wolf is from Mechanicsburg, Pennsylvania. Lucas, 26th fastest tonight, but more importantly, you're back in front of the hometown fans. How's it feel?
Yeah, it's good to be home. It's good we got a race in here. We had such a hard time with weather and stuff, but unfortunately qualified poorly so far. We have to have a very good heat race to try to make it in the National Open.
You're going to be starting in position number 7. What's the strategy?
I got to get a good start. There's all these heat races are awful tough, so we're going to do what we can and hopefully go to the front.
Lucas Wolf is going to strap in. Let's go down to the other end of pit road, Darren Crocker.
Daniel Lisowski, in a recent press release, you credit Barry Jackson for a lot of your success this season. What has he done for this team?
Oh, you know, he's our chassis builder, and he's done a great job for this Jason's General Store team. You know, he's right here from Carlisle. He's been to Williams Grove all this time, and he's definitely got us better here at Williams Grove.
You start on the pole, and you're in the second heat here. Say you start in the pole in the second heat. How important is it to finish in the top 2, getting that dash?
Oh, that make and break your night. I'll tell you got to run a 1-2 and get a redraw for the dash. That'll make your make or break your night.
We got to let him get in the car. He's in the next heat race.
Thank you very much, Aaron and Shane. So home cooking is a big deal here around the Williams Grove area, and there are quite a few. No shortage of people who are from this area. You take a look at Charlie Garrett, the engine builder on the number 14, Colton Gauss, who's a crew member, Ricky Warner, the crew chief for Donnie Schatz, Justin Adams, Brian Ellenberger, and then you've got engine builders Don Ott, Tom Ryder. We mentioned Charlie Garrett. JEI Chassis is from here. The list goes on and on and on, Brad. Central Pennsylvania is a big part of sprint car racing.
Well, it is, and we talk about in the Open how tough it is, and these guys come back. And part of that's the reason. These guys, they eat and breathe sprint car racing back in this part of the country.
Let's get you set now for your super clean start of the race for heat race number 1. The grid is going right across the top there. You can check it out. Jason Myers is going to start inside of the front row with Brooke Tatnell outside of row number 1. Dave Ely and Pat Cannon will be in row number 2. The number 7 of, the 15H of Sam Hafertepe Jr. alongside Jason Sides, scheduled to go in row number 3. Mark Smith's in there in row 4 alongside Steve Buckwalter. You see Joey Saldana in the Budweiser number 9 inside of row number 5 with Chris Malizin, Ryan Bolke, and Stevie Smith, if you can believe it, Brad, starting as the slowest qualifier in this group.
Unbelievable.
Outside of row number 6. 8 laps is the distance in each of these 4 heats. Here's your super clean start of the race. The green is in the air for heat race number 1, and Jason Myers gets the jump. You have to finish in the top 5 to transfer to the A main, the top 2 to be in the dash, Brad.
Yeah, to really have any realistic chance of winning this race, you almost have to finish in the top 2 to get in that dash. And you want to be in the top 5 to even make it in. Joey Saldana back there trying to race his way in, but Bobby, real quick, I want to clarify something. Anybody that listens to anything I happen to say, I said Steve Kinzer would be on the pole the first heat. I missed on the inversion. I never figured it out as a driver, and I really missed on this one. Steve Kinzer will be in the 4th heat.
Steve Kinzer will be in the 4th heat. All of these heat races inverted by 4. We've got the fastest qualifier in this one, and we also have the 13th fastest qualifier in this one. That's why Myers was on the front row. There's Stevie Smith and Joey Saldana. They're dicing it out right now, but guess what, Brad? They're dicing for 9th.
Yeah, Joey, the car looks tight. He's got to be so frustrated.
Well, and this drives home the point that we were trying to make about qualifying. Oh, trouble. Stevie Smith catches a part of the inside berm. Looks like he gathered it back up there in the number 1 machine.
Yeah, you saw the car actually do a wheelie there where he flipped it, got on the gas, pulled the front wheels off the ground. These guys in the back, so Saldana right there, they need caution flags to bunch this field back up to really have any realistic chance to get into the top 5. I mean, Jason Myers is checked out front. The race is back here trying to see if Joey Saldana can race his way in.
Myers out in front, looking strong in the DD&I and GLR Investments car number 14. Jason Myers entered 9 points behind behind Donnie Schatz when the night started. That has not changed at all. No points for heat races, and neither one of those drivers earned points in qualifying as the top 5 time trialers do. Here's Saldana working on Mark Smith. Oh, Stevie Smith sneaks underneath Joey Saldana and steals the spot away.
Now the top 5, as you said, qualify for the A. Then depending on where you qualify, whether you go to the B main or the C main, to still try to race your way in.
Good action right there as the white flag comes out for Jason Myers. Stevie Smith and Joey Saldana still going at it back there as they continue to battle for 9th position. Boy, it's got to be frustrating for Joey Saldana and his team tonight. The checkered flag waves for Jason Myers. He is easily going to get the win in this heat race, the first one of the night. We'll run down the finishing order for you here in just a second as they all scream across the line. There's a look at Sam Hafertepe Jr. in car number 15. But no problems for Jason Myers in the 14 machine, as he is the winner of this one, Brad. And looked like that was pretty much just par for the course out there for him.
Well, again, it's so important to start up front, and we talk about the clean air, and I hate to keep bringing that up, but boy, these high speeds and these long straightaways, it's very critical to get a good starting spot, try to get out front.
Let's show you our Armor All finish of the race for heat race number 1. Jason Myers, the winner. Brooke Tatnall finishes in the 2nd spot. Pat Cannon, the quick qualifier, he's in there. Jason Sides and Dave Ely. Those 5 transfer to tonight's Williams Grove National Open. Everybody else is going to have to do it the hard way. We'll take a break as you look at Joey Saldana unbuckling. He'll debrief with Willie Kane, and we'll come back and we'll talk to him. Heat race number 2 is coming up from Williams Grove. On the racetrack, let's go back down to the pits and with Shane Andrews.
Joey Saldana, you have had an absolute tough night here tonight. What do you got to do to get this car going forward?
Probably you guys need to interview people that are fast right now. We're not doing that good, and just got to keep working on our Budweiser number 9. And it just this place is all qualifying. If you don't qualify well, you're gonna have a bad night. It's very hard to make up after that. So we just keep working on our car and hopefully we can make it better. And a really good racer out of Washington got hurt last week, Travis Roots. So all our thoughts and prayers go out to his family and him, and hopefully he recovers soon.
Well, they're going to keep doing what they need to do down here in the 9 pit. Bobby, back to you.
Thanks, Shane. And we want to echo that, too, from Brad and myself and everyone at Speed and with the World of Outlaws Sprint Car Series. We wish Travis Roots well and hope that he gets better very soon. We'd love to see him back out here at the sprint car races. Let's give you the lineup for heat race number 2. Danny Lasowski and Brian Monteith up there on the front row. They call Brian Monteith the Edge, and that's because he's right out there on it, according to Bruce Ellis, the track announcer. Brian Lepo and Greg Hodnett inside or makeup row number 2. Fred Raymer, Mark Cauldron in row 3. Lucas Wolf, Craig Delansky's in the 27C car, picked up a local Pennsylvania ride here for this weekend to keep himself in the points mix. Darren Pittman and Rick Lafferty, Johnny Mackison and Keith Kaufman, and we're green. Lasowski gets the jump.
And we have both 27 cars. It looks like Delansky got a really good start on the outside.
He's in 3rd position there as they were rolling through turn number 3. Delansky with a little bit of a push now, being challenged. Down the front straightaway they come. Brian Lepo trying to go around the outside of Craig Delansky. Delansky in that blue 27. Greg Hodnett is right there in the mix too in the yellow number 22. They thought about going 3 wide. Can you do that at the Grove, Brad?
Boy, it's really tight when you try to do that. But I said Delansky, such a huge start from the 4th row outside. They got bottled up in front of him, and the opening was there. Now Greg Hodnett gets back by on the inside.
How difficult. Oh, a little wheel rub in there.
Wow. Hodnett, I'm sure, thought he was clear of Delansky, but part of that, the cars wing down, and the cars do, you can see them wiggle as they go down the straightaway. You have to give the other guy a little bit extra room sometimes as you're entering the corner, because that car will do that little zigzag as it enters the corner.
Up until about 10 days ago, Delansky was running for Casey Kane Racing. As many of you well know, Brad Sweet is in that car here tonight at Williams Grove after Kane and Delansky parted company. Delansky picking up this ride here with Hefner Racing. They've got Keith Kaufman and Delansky doing double duty here tonight in 27 cars that are twins. Brian Monteith, the Edge, is out in front over Danny Lasowski right now. That's Brian Lepo running in the 3rd spot. Greg Hodnett's 4th, and Craig Delansky right there is in the 5th position. That's the final transfer spot into the feature. Look at that push.
Yeah, car's getting tight on him too. I don't know if the moisture's coming back, but definitely that car's, you see him, that was a good corner right there. But boy, when you run it, when you're tight like that, turn on the left, you're definitely scrubbing a lot of speed. I talked about that zigzag or that wiggle waggle. It seems like down the back straightaways we got a caution flag.
Trouble for a car over in turn number 2. It looks like Brian Lepo is off the pace. He was running in the 3rd position. If that is indeed Lepo, and I think it is, it's 71 coming to a stop. So Brian Lepo.
Left rear torsion bar looks like it broke on that car. Suspension part broke as you see the car laying to the left.
That's going to open the door for Lucas Wolf, as Lucas Wolf will now move into the top 5. We bounce down back into the pits with Shane Andrews.
There's an old adage in one movie that I can't remember. It says, I love it when a plan comes together. Oh, yeah, that was the A-Team. Jason Myers, you guys are running like the A-Team tonight. Congratulations on that heat win. Tell us about that run.
Well, we're starting in the right spot. We got a good start off the corner there. Charlie Garrett builds a heck of a motor, and it runs on, especially on a place like this. And we're playing step 2 of this 4-step process is in the bag now. We got to go out, and it's Lady Luck's turn now to help us out here in the dash draw and see if we can't go out and do in the dash in the feature.
Well, will Lady Luck smile down on Jason Myers tonight? He's still searching for that first Williams Grove win.
Jason Myers headed back over into his hauler right now as they continue to take a look at. They're watching the races.
That's pretty neat when you can the live race like this. They got it all down in the haulers down there, and they can keep up with all the action and really watch the racetrack is what they're looking for.
Let's bring in Aaron Crocker-Evernham into this mix. Aaron, you've run laps here at Williams Grove in the past. What do you think about what you've been able to see here so far tonight?
I just want to comment on what Brad keeps talking about being aero tight. I hadn't driven a sprint car in 5 years and ran a few races this year, and it seems worse than ever. I'm not sure if it's the new flat wings that they run, but especially at a racetrack here with long straightaways and you're right in all that disturbed air. It seems like when you go in that corner, you have no feeling in the front end, and that's why so many of these cars look like they're turning to the left and heading up the racetrack. There's just no feeling in that front end.
And what she's talking about with the new wing rule this year, they went to the flatter wing rule, which is less efficient. So what they're doing to compensate that, they're actually mounting the wings further back on the car, but more importantly, they're standing them up a lot at a more severe angle. That punches that bigger hole in the air as we talk about it. So when you tuck in behind a race car, and it takes the air off of your nose wing, that car will literally do a wheelie down the straightaway, and that's an unnerving feeling. Talked to Erin earlier, that happened to her. Saw Brian Paulus do it here one time, pulled in behind the car, and the front wheels literally came 5 or 6 feet off the ground. So from a driver's standpoint, you need to be aware of that when you tuck in and out from behind someone.
Tomorrow night at 7 p.m. Eastern, join Lee Diffie and Ralph Shaheen for the latest motorsports news. They'll bring it all to you on the Speed Report. It's NASCAR at Kansas, Formula One at Suzuka, Japan, MotoGP in Portugal, and much more. The Speed Report, Sunday nights at 7 p.m. Eastern, exclusively on Speed. And we get set for this restart, Brad. Lucas Wolf will move up into the 5th position. He's got Darren Pittman and Fred Raymer right on his rear nerf.
Well, Danny Lasowski has to be a little nervous looking up on the board and seeing the 22 of Greg Hodnett right behind him. Again, the top 5 go to the main event, but the top 2 are the only ones that go to the dash.
Pittman thought about going to the outside as Lucas Wolf has a run on Delansky down the back straightaway. They'll go side by side into turn number 3. Delansky gets there first. Now Wolf is going to have to protect as Pittman goes around the outside trying to get that last transfer. Darren Pittman's got a nose in front. Oh, no! Trouble! How in the world did both of those cars stay on all 4s?
Luck. That was all just luck right there. They can say what they want. They drove those race cars, but that was luck. Couple very unhappy race car drivers. You can see right there Darren Pittman climbing out.
Oh, he's hot. That's an angry Darren Pittman right there.
Yep.
Those of us that have spent time around Darren, he's a pretty mild-mannered guy. Every once in a while he gets fired up, and just the way he jumped out of that race car was unlike the mild-mannered DP.
Yeah, we're going to get a look at it. You know, he just went around the outside of Lucas Wolf down in turn 3 and 4. Obviously, they're both trying to go to the bottom going into 1, and it didn't work.
Pittman walking away, got the helmet off, and let's see the replay.
Ooh, boy, now, you know, Darren looked like Darren tried to go to the bottom of the racetrack and didn't know that Lucas Wolf had a good run to the inside of him right there. And I do have to wonder, I mean, if Darren, let's see it again here.
Darren's starting to make his arc there, and Lucas, I think, felt like he had nowhere to go at that point.
Yep.
Maybe Darren didn't realize he was right there.
That's what I was saying. I don't know if he knew. He cleared him down in 3 and 4, thought maybe let's another look at it here. And maybe Darren Pittman possibly could be as angry at himself as he is at anybody else. But
Pittman on the run through the pit area right now, perhaps just trying to get back and maybe relay to the guys what all is damaged on that machine. We'll keep an eye on that. Let's see here if the action. Pittman is still on the move, and yeah, he is headed for Lucas Wolf. And now race officials have got him. I think, you know, Darren's a pretty level-headed guy, and he might be hot right now, but I think when he
as a race car driver, as a race car driver, your adrenaline's flowing, your heart is pounding when you're out in those race cars. When something like that happens, I mean, as you said, he's usually a mild-mannered guy, but he's pretty fired up right now.
Darren Pittman, what took place out on the racetrack?
He ran over me. I mean, he gets passed on the racetrack, and the only way he knows to fix it is just run over a guy. So apparently he learned that up here, and he ain't got no better out on the road. Hell, he's been out there 3 years, can't win a race. Never has done nothing, so maybe he needs to come back home.
I don't think Darren Pittman will be getting any Christmas cards from the Pennsylvania Posse fans.
Let's get a look at it here. You know what? I've known Darren for a lot of years, and maybe when he sees this replay, he'll see the other side of it a little bit. You know, it's not like Lucas Wolf moved up on him. You know, Darren just did look like he turned down, not knowing that the 5-car of Lucas Wolf was that close to him. Now remember, there's no rear view mirrors in these cars. There's no crew chief spot. There's no spotters telling them, you know, where they're at on the racetrack, that kind of thing.
Darren Pittman just losing his cool here tonight after that one.
Well, especially, I mean, that was for a position to get into into the main event. This is the Williams Grove National Open. We talked about it in the open of our show, how important this race is, what the history of it is, and to be that close to making it and not get in.
Yeah, he had just made a move to get into the top 5. We apologize for the expletive that you may have just heard there from our natural audio as Darren was heading into his trailer. These things will happen in a situation like this in live TV, but we apologize for that. Let's go down to Shane Andrews once again.
Well, I'm here with Sammy Swindell, the winner of the 97 edition of the National Open. Sammy, you said you've had bad nights, but not as bad as what Darren and Lucas are having, but take us through your night. How you doing?
Well, we started out pretty good. I mean, we were like quickest there till right there at the very last and wound up third, but I just missed getting off a 2 for qualifying run, and I wound up 32nd. So it doesn't take much, you know. We should have been in the top 10 or 12, but for that slip, you know, it just the cars are too close together. You can't afford to make a mistake, and I thought I could turn down just a little bit there, and I guess it was where the trucks and stuff go across, and I hit that, and it was kind of like ice, and I thought I was going to spin out. So, but you know, we'll see what we can do. Try to get a good start and get this honey run car in the main.
A lot of people may not realize where those trucks and cars do go across the track can cost you a little bit, can it?
Yeah, and it's you know, it just caught me out there. I just you know, thought I could move down there, and it was a lot slicker than I thought.
Bobby, take it away.
Over 600 wins in his legendary career, 3-time World of Outlaws Sprint Car Series champion Sammy Swindell. Now take a look at the twin 27s. They're right there holding down 4th and 5th, but here comes fast Freddie Raymer around the outside into a transfer position. He got one of them. He got Kaufman now going after Craig Delansky. Now here comes Kaufman back on the bottom. Two of the legends of Pennsylvania racing going side by side at the National Open. 1 lap to go.
Talked about that arrow push and different things, and about the front end getting off the ground. You saw the right front of Fred Raymer's car come off the ground.
And Lucas Wolf gets in that picture now as he gets by Kaufman. Going after Raymer, the checkered flag's going to fly. It'll be Danny Lasowski getting the win. And it's close at the line, but it will be Craig Delansky and fast Freddie Raymer getting the 4th and 5th position. So no shortage of excitement in heat race number 2, as we had everything going on there. We had the controversy between Darren Pittman and Lucas Wolf, and hopefully we'll be able to hear Lucas Wolf's side of the story here. Once he exits the 5W, we'll be sending our crew on down there. Your armor all finished for heat race number 2 looks like this. It's the dude, Danny Lasowski, picking up the win. The Edge, Brian Monty, finishes 2nd. Greg Hodnett, I don't think Hodnett has a nickname. He's 3rd. Craig Delansky, the crowd pleaser, finishes 4th, and fast Freddie Raymer finishes 5th. We will head to a break. We'll come back with more heat racing action, and hopefully we'll hear from Lucas Wolf, get his side of the story. Oh boy, phone the kids, wake the neighbors. It's the National Open. Welcome back to Williams Grove. It's the Cleveland Brothers National Open at Williams Grove Speedway, Mechanicsburg, Pennsylvania. Heat race number 3 is on the racetrack, but the fireworks were in that last heat race. Heat race number 2, battle for position between Lucas Wolf and Darren Pittman. Pittman said he got run over, but the video shows that he may have chopped Lucas Wolf. Pittman had some less than flattering things to say about Lucas Wolf, who is finishing up his second full year on the World of Outlaws Sprint Car Series. We heard from Pittman. Now we need to hear from Lucas Wolf, and let's go down to Shane Andrews.
Well, there's two sides to every story. We heard from Darren Pittman. Lucas, he said you ran over him, but take us through what you saw and what you went through out there in that incident.
Yeah, I mean, we were all racing there at close for the last transfer spot, and I was on the inside, and he got a run on the outside of me and came down, and I mean, I was there. I don't know, I guess I'm supposed to stop for him, but that's what happens when you squeeze you, so that's about all I can say.
Lucas Wolf has some work to do on the 5W.
Well, there you go, Brad. You've seen it 2 or 3 more times.
But you know what? After seeing we pretty much from the top angle looking down, but when you see it from our camera looking towards turns 1, you could. Darren Pittman's out of the throttle and turning down, and Lucas did have a run on him. Watching it in slow motion, you think, well, Lucas Wolf could have or should have slowed down. But you got to remember, they're running over 150 miles an hour. That happened in a split second. He didn't really have time to get on the brakes.
And that's why he had to pitch the car so abruptly?
Yeah, you could see him just pitch the car and trying to avoid it, but climbed up over Pittman anyway, and you saw what happened.
Well, here's the grid for heat race number 3. Jim Siegel and Paul McMahon up there on the front row. Chad Layton and Ed Lynch Jr. will be in row 2. Donnie Kreitz Jr., one of the all-time greats here at Williams Grove, inside of row number 3 alongside Craig Kinzer. Brad Sweet and Mike Erdley in row 4. Cody Darrah, Brian Ellenberger, Tim Kading, and Jason Johnson. 12 cars going 8 laps in the top 5. Advance to the feature event. The green is in the air. It's Paul McMahon winning the drag race over Jim Siegel into turn number 1, and McMahon's going to lead him down the back chute.
Oh, and you saw just in our picture there, the red car, Cody Darrah, way up high. Now he's going to stop down the back straightaway.
Probably just a track position deal here. He'll slow down, bring out the yellow flag, although it has not come out yet. He needs to come to a stop to get that yellow flag. Now they throw the yellow flag, and Cody Darrah will join up at the rear of the field, but he'll be a lot closer to the front as far as track position is concerned.
Yeah, he jumped the cushion, about got in the wall, and he was so far back, the field drove away from him. Jason Johnson was also back there really slow. I don't know if they got together, but he stops the car, brings out the caution. As you said, that'll bunch the field back up, put him back on the rear bumper instead of being a half a lap behind.
We can show you that this is the start. You're on board. Armor All on-car camera, and that's why he went to the outside, huh? He had to take evasive action.
Yeah, it looked like his left front, you could see it there, almost ran over the right rear of someone else. So he did a very good job avoiding contact and drove up over the cushion. Kept it out of the wall.
Coming to a stop like that right after an incident like that on the opening lap, is that just sprint car driving 101, or are you surprised that a 20-year-old has enough savvy to do that real quick?
I think that comes pretty quick. You know, when you see the field driving away from you like that, it's kind of instinct. You just know that I'm not going to catch these guys unless I stop.
I better bring out a caution flag. So that's what he did. You're on board here for the restart now. And you see the flag man holding up that green flag. That's telling the drivers that next time around, they will be getting the green flag. Tomorrow, NASCAR race day thunders into Kansas for the 3rd race of the championship chase. We'll chat live with Jimmy Johnson as he sets his sights on teammate Mark Martin, and Joey Logano talks about his thrilling ride in Dover. NASCAR race day built by the Home Depot, live from Kansas tomorrow, 11 a.m. Eastern. NASCAR on speed, be there. Paul McMahon out in front in the Indy Race Parts number 13. Tom Book combining with Indy Race Parts to bring that car together. Paul said that's actually the same machine that he ran at the Nationals earlier, well, maybe about a month and a half ago, but they ran a different number on that car. They've now switched the number back to number 13, which I guess is Tom Book's number, the guy who owns that car.
Paul, one of those guys running a true outlaw schedule, just run anywhere, any place, and a lot of different race cars even at times.
There's an orange cone placed out on the front straightaway, Brad. They have to stay nose to tail single file on the outside of that cone, or else they're penalized.
Cannot pass before you go by that, and the reason for that is to keep cars from jumping the restarts and getting 4 and 5 wide. And used to have a lot of crashes on restarts, so that cone has kind of eliminated that.
Chad Layton looking to the inside of Jim Siegel, drives him deep. Siegel's able to hold the line and finish in, or excuse me, run in the 2nd position. Chad Layton running 3rd. Craig Kinzer in the number 20 is 4th, and Ed Lynch is in the 5th position in the 2L.
Really good run for Jim Siegel running there in 2nd, son of Steve Siegel.
When these cars go down the front straightaway, they look different than other sprint cars we see at other racetracks, Brad. Why is that?
As far as
just the way the angle of the car. Sometimes we see the way that, we'll see him actually hike one of the front wheels and carry it down the front straightaway.
Because of those long straightaways we have here, the speeds they're carrying, and that wing bearing, that left rear corner so deep into the racetrack that the suspension tops out the right front. Oh, looked like Brad Sweet got in low, pushed up across the racetrack. But again, it buries the left rear, picks the right front right off the ground.
Brad Sweet in the number 19 DirecTV car, the second of the Casey Kane cars. Oh, trouble for Cody Dara. Got it sideways, and he's going to bring it to a stop with a spin out, and you can see his frustration there.
Yeah, pretty good hit with the wall there. If it hit the left front tire, it might have been a radius rod or something. We'll see. Get a look at that as they push the car back. But yeah, very frustrated young man there as he got in the slick part of the racetrack.
Cody was not real happy earlier after his time trial lap. As we look on board with Cody Dara, there he is way sideways.
Ooh, yeah. When you see the left front wheel turned all the way to the right, he was about to spin out right there. The car really sideways. Now he had to make a split decision. Now you can see him there get on the brakes. The left rear tire is locked up at that point. Make a decision when you start to spin like that. Do you mash the throttle pedal and try to do a complete 360 and keep the car going? Or are you going to brakes? Looked like he realized he was too low on the racetrack. If he'd have tried to do a 360, he'd probably slapped it with the right rear. He had no choice but to stop the car.
And let's go down to Shane Andrews once again, who's standing by with the crowd pleaser who squeezed his way into the feature.
Yes, he did, Bobby. He did squeeze his way into the feature. Craig Delansky, it's been a very interesting week for you, to say the least, but you're into the National Open.
Yeah, like you said, to say the least, it has been an interesting couple weeks, but we're looking forward, and I thank Mike Hefner for putting me in his car for the weekend. You know, first night in, I mean, I felt pretty good. We had a late number qualifying there, and, you know, we had to dig out of the hole in the heat race. So fortunately, we got in the A main, and we'll keep working on this team here and see what we can do from there.
Well, the Hefner Racing team gave you the opportunity, but you're also back with your former crew chief, Mike Woodring.
Yeah, exactly. Mike Woodring and myself are back working together, starting right here, right now. But, you know, we got a new deal going together next year with Big Game Tree Stands and Todd Queering. And, you know, we're really excited about that. And there's a lot of things going on with it right now. And we're trying to get ramped up as quick as we can and maybe hit the World Finals at the end of the year.
Well, Craig Delansky is ready to go racing. So is another guy who is standing by with Aaron Crocker.
Chad Kemenow, who's always a really strong competitor. You missed time trials. You hot lapped one car, jumped in the other car. How's your night going? What's going on?
We really don't know. You know, the season I'm having this year, after nothing's really surprising me. You know, we win an outlaw race, lose my job, and just we're taking it in stride. You know, we don't really know what's going on. We got an electrical problem, fuel problem, something. It just won't run, and both cars are doing the same thing. So it's just one of them nights you just want to start all over.
You've been running your own car, the 63, sometimes. You've been running this car. Do you have any plans set for next season?
I don't have anything in concrete right now. You know, working on a few things. My goal is get back out here and race every night in and night out with these guys. That's how you become better, and you know, we're working on trying to get that done.
Hopefully Chad can find him something full-time for next year. Back to you, Bob and Brad.
Thank you, Aaron. A couple of footnotes here to the reports that we just heard. We want to mention Shawn Michaels, one of the local drivers here, suffered a shattered kneecap, and he would normally be behind the wheel of one of those 27s that Delansky and Kaufman are wheeling here tonight. But even though he came back, he said it just didn't have enough strength in the knee, and so he's parked himself for the rest of the season. A smart move. I'm sure the rest of his fellow competitors appreciate that. If you get a chance sometime, HefnerRacing.com. Take a look at the battered sprint car of that Shawn Michael crash. It is unbelievable to check out. And then finally, Craig Delansky mentioning his deal. We read on his website that he's bringing back the number 7, Brad. It's even though it'll be a Big Game Tree Stands car, they're going to put the number 7 back on.
That was his number when he owned his own teams and ran for several years. So it'll be interesting to see that team come about. Another team in that Hefner race car that he's running here this weekend. That's our rookie car owner this season. Has 2 race cars out this weekend. So it's nice to see some guys getting into the sport.
You got to love the new blood. There's Brad Sweeten a little bit sideways there in the DirecTV number 19. We are back to a battle for 5th right now. As you take a look at Donnie Crouch Jr. holding down the 5th position. White flag is out in this one. It's all Paul McMahon up front. They continue to fight it out as Tim Kading is picking up a spot in now racing with Brad Sweet down the back straightaway. They go side by side. That's a battle for 8th or 9th. The checkered flag flies though for Paul McMahon. He is the winner of heat race number 3. Donnie Crouch Jr. there in the number 69 car. He's going to put himself into the National Open. He picks up the 5th and final transfer position in the 69K. Donnie, the 47-year-old racer from Sinking Springs, Pennsylvania, just coming up on his 48th birthday. Armor All finished for heat race number 3. It's Paul McMahon, your winner. Chad Layton finishes second, Jim Siegel third, and Craig Kinzer fourth. Don Kreitz gets that 5th and final transfer position. And more big names, Brad, piling into what is going to be an exciting night of Last Chance Racing and C-Main Racing. One more heat race yet to go. It's the 4th heat. We're going to see Steve Kinzer and Donnie Schatz in the next one. You don't want to miss that. Come on back. Welcome you back to Williams Grove. Heat race number 4 is on the track. It's going to be a good one. Steve Kinzer and Donnie Schatz are in this one. But first, we go back down to the pits and Shane Andrews.
Cody Dara, the defending winner of the National Open. You have high expectations coming into this race. What happened from your perspective during the heat race?
You know, we've been behind all night. We had some fuel issues in time trials, so we never really know where our car's at, and I don't really know where the track's at. We never really had a good lap. Got a bad start. Just about rolled off the right rear of the 22 and kind of stalled the motor up there and just kind of relined, and we're car's tight, we missed it, we're off on gear, you know, a lot of things, and frustration's high here, but we're going to go into speed main and see if we can make something happen. I don't like to race like this, and it don't happen too often. What a night for it to happen.
A very well-spoken young man here, Cody Dara. More stories in the pit area. Let's go over to Aaron Crocker.
Craig Kinzer, you went from 6th to 4th in your heat. Not an easy accomplishment here. How tough is the competition out there?
Competition is real tough. I mean, you got some of the best sprint car racers in the world here, and you know, you come to the Grove, they got their stuff figured out, and obviously they showed that in qualifying, and it's going to be a battle all night. But you know, our Bass Pro Chevrolet's locked in for both features, so we get to watch a lot of racing before we get to go back out. Unfortunately, we start in the back, so we'll try to do the best we can to get up forward and hopefully make a run at this thing.
Sure feels good for Craig to be locked in the A-main. Back to you guys.
All right, here's the lineup for heat race number 4. Steve Kinzer and Donnie Schatz up there sharing the front row. Just a few World of Outlaws championships, 23 to be exact, between those two drivers right there. In row number 2, it'll be the wild child, Jack Hodenschild, in the R19 car alongside the 25A of Aaron Ott. Alan Crimes, Tim Schaefer in row 3. We heard from Sammy Swindell earlier. He's alongside Lance DeWeese in row 4. Adam Wilton, Todd Schaefer in row 5. Gerard McIntyre and Brent Marks there at the rear of the field. National Open winner Steve Kinzer 4, Donnie Schatz 4. Now this will not break that tie. This is just a heat race, but it could get broken later on tonight. Hodenschild to the outside of Steve Kinzer.
Whoa, what a bold move.
Oh, the yellow flag.
Steve Kinzer has got to be smiling beard here. Of course, the other hand, Hodgenschild's like, I cannot believe this.
Now, and if you're new to sprint car racing, the reason we're reacting to that is the yellow flag will negate that pass. They'll go back and have a restart. So we're going to show the whole start again, and we understand there may be a penalty somewhere in the field. They're shuffling some cars around. They're saying Sammy Swindell jumped the start.
Jack Hodenschild, they're right behind Steve Kinzer, the green car. Looked like Kinzer breathed it. Okay, I'm going to try to go to the bottom, get under Donnie Schatz. Hodenschild goes to the outside.
But I guess it was Sammy Swindell in the white number 10 who jumped out of line coming off of turn number 4. So we'll restart. Heat race number 4. Swindell was moved back, and that moved Todd Schaefer up a row. And we're green again, and this time Steve Kinzer gets the jump in the 11 car. He gets the better of Donnie Schatz. Hodenschild with a run on Schatz down the back straightaway. Jack Hodenschild into second. Schatz not going to give it up easy. Here comes the wild child underneath Kinzer, and he's to the front.
Oh,
Kinzer sideways.
Steve Kinzer spins out and collects Todd Schaefer. Damage to Steve Kinzer's car. Oh my gosh.
And look at the damage to Schaefer too.
Yep. Now remember, Schaefer, the points champion, or leading the points here for Williams Grove Championship. That's a massive hit. The front frame.
Yeah, the front frame's bent on the 88 car. Unless that's some goofy angle we were looking at, it looks like that sucker was bent.
Oh yeah. The frame, way harder hit than we even anticipated.
Yeah.
That frame is bent under. The front frame is shoved over. I was just getting ready to comment. Jack Hodenschild was so fast down the back straightaway. It looked like he had to. Look at Steve Kinzer just losing control as he jumps over.
Oh, big hit from Schaefer. Boy, boy, that car is done.
And it hit on a kind of a weak spot on the front corner, and you can see how it shoved the frame over. Oh, Steve, you can see the lock, the brakes up. It looked like he got in. He pushed a little bit, stabbed the front brake. And remember, sprint cars have 3-wheel brakes, only the left front, no right front brake. So if the car pushes, the driver can stand on the brake pedal and try to turn the car. That's what Steve did, and it actually got him 2 sideways, and he lost control.
Well, they've thrown a red flag now. They've brought all the cars to a stop as the safety crew comes over to check on the status of Todd Schaefer in car number 88, the points leader here at Williams Grove Speedway. Also, Steve Kinser's car up on the hook. We're going to sort things out here at the Grove, and when we come back, we'll tell you what's going on, give you the latest on the status of Todd Schaefer as the safety crew takes a look at him right now. We're coming back with more. You're watching the World of Outlaws on Speed. Williams Grove, the King's car comes into the pit area, into the pit work area. Brad, what do you see there?
Well, obviously the left rear wheel is bent, but that's a pretty hard hit. Have to see when they get this thing off what the damage to the suspension or maybe the rear axle could be bent itself, and they won't know till they get this left rear wheel and tire off.
We'll see another look at the replay here to see exactly what happened. Kinser passed by Hodenshield, wants to come firing back at him.
I think Hodenshield surprised him. I really do. I think Jack had such a good run, passed him cleanly. No fault of Jack Hodenshield, but Steve looked like the car took a set, maybe pushed. He got on the brakes a little hard, found himself in the slick part of the racetrack and just lost control.
Donnie Schatz. Whoa, Donnie Schatz had to take evasive action. Man. Also, Aaron Ott sneaking through underneath. Lance DeWeese nearly had a piece of that action.
Racing's always in a lot of sports just a matter of inches, but Donnie Schatz just barely missed Steve Kinser there.
Let's go to Shane Andrews.
Steve, obviously disappointed. What happened?
Oh, I just got in there and got all messed up. Hodge comes, in underneath me, and I just got all messed up, and that's about all I can say.
Well, Steve admitting it.
Surprised him. Like I said, I think Jack just surprised him that Jack had such a run and got in there.
Steve Kinser, the 20-time World of Outlaws champion. And the green flag comes out with Steve still sitting in the work area, so he is not going to be able to resume this one. Hodenshield, Schatz, Aaron Ott, Alan Crimes in there down on the bottom.
I don't know what Jack Hodenshield and the crew chief Leonard Lee have done to the R19 car, but boy, they are fast right now.
Battle for transfer spot there between DeWeese and Tim Schaefer.
Tim Schaefer, the All-Star Circuit champion this year, had a really good, successful season. Brian Kemenol, the crew chief on that car.
Sammy Swindell ducked into the pit area, and he's back out there. And boy, you give Sammy a chance to get into the pits and turn a wrench on a car, and he might find something.
He's definitely, Sammy's one of those hands-on race car drivers, sprint car drivers that knows his race car, makes the adjustments, a lot of the calls himself.
Sammy's in the white number 10, third car on your screen. That's Tim Schaefer in the 83, then Lance DeWeese, then Sammy Swindell. They are battling for 5th, 6th, and 7th. Right now, Schaefer has the final transfer spot. DeWeese and Swindell trying to get to him. Sammy down on the bottom, trying to take the 6th position away from DeWeese. They'll go side by side down the back straightaway. DeWeese has the advantage. Man, they whip those cars when it's time to turn, don't they?
You have to, especially going into turn 3 because it's such a tight corner entering down there. You better literally have to pitch the car sideways to enter that corner.
Swindell puts the slide job on DeWeese, and this time DeWeese does what Steve Kinser just did, and then Brent Marks piles in.
I think they're running these cars, they're so tight, like that. They try to tighten them up, and then they're on the verge of pushing. So they got to turn the car maybe a little more to get the back to slip a little more. And if you hit the slick part of the racetrack like they've shown.
A lot of fluid dripping out of the 30C for Lance DeWeese.
Looks like a broken rear end, I'll bet, because of the left rear. You see the damage to that. That's what I wondered about Steve Kinser car, and we'll try to get a report on that later too. But you take a hit like that in the left rear, it can break the center section, and there's gear lube, of course, in the rear end of these cars. Again, Sammy Swindell did nothing wrong. Lance DeWeese just tried to turn the car to get back under him. He was in the slick part of the racetrack and lost it.
And Brent Marks really didn't have anywhere to go on that deal. But that's a classic clean slide job.
Absolutely.
Look at the separation between the tail tank and the front end. There was plenty of space there.
Absolutely. Nothing Swindell did wrong there. Just as I said, DeWeese in the slick part of the racetrack. And the same thing, the 39 nowhere to go, kind of like we saw with Todd Schaefer and Steve Kinser.
Boy, the hits just keep on coming here at this racetrack. We should also mention, that Brent Marks in that 39 car has replaced Doug Esch, who's an injured driver, former winner of the National Open. Doug Esch is continuing to get well, and we wish Doug Esch a speedy recovery. Hope to get him back out here. Let's go down into the pits and Aaron Crocker-Evernham.
The winner of the last World of Outlaws race at Eldora last Friday night, Jason Sides. The track seems awfully racy tonight, a lot of incidents. What do you think is attributing to that?
Well, it just makes for it's a really wet racetrack right now, and it's real wide. So it seems like that guys get run on them, and things you were talking about earlier with the aero package and all, and you get behind somebody, and it's kind of you can run the top or the bottom right now, and it makes it kind of hard to pass.
You've locked into the feature, finishing 4th in your heat race. Where will that put you in start?
We qualified 21st, so it should be somewhere around that area. We'll just, when that track does widen out, it'll make for a lot better racetrack, and see what we can get from there.
Heading over down to Shane.
Well, Todd Schaefer, you have 2 battles tonight that you're actually fighting. Number 1, wanting to win this National Open, but number 2, you're the current points leader here at Williams Grove, but your night has taken a big hit. First of all, how are you? You okay?
Oh, I'm all right. Yeah, we took a big hit there. Of all people you trust there. I don't know if somebody got into Steve, but he spun and I got into him wide open. So we're done with this. I guess with outlaw rules, we're allowed to tag the tail of the C with our backup car, and we're going to do that. And then if we can get up through there and get into B, we'll try and make it that way. If not, there's a chance of a provisional. I don't know if there'll be any or not.
Well, Todd Schaefer has his work cut out for him here this evening, guys.
Boy, Todd Schaefer, that's a tough one, and you hate to see the damage like that to one of the top drivers here. And they've got a backup, they've got a spare. They're one of the well-prepared teams, and so Todd Schaefer going to try to get himself back out there. We also heard from Jason Sides there with Aaron. Jason Sides has not finished outside the top 10 in a feature event since August 7th, so he's been on quite a roll. And we've said it on every telecast so far this season, but Sides is in the midst of his best season ever.
There's no doubt about that, and he started 6th when he won at Eldora. And you're one of your tracks near and dear to you, the Gold Cup at Chico. He all but had that one won, and Joey Saldana stole it from him.
Boy, he stole it.
Yeah, I mean, went from 50,000 to 20,000.
Yeah.
So that hurts when he owns his own team, but just to lose the Gold Cup. But he can't be too disappointed. He is having a great season.
Lance DeWeese also being deposited there in the pits in the 30C. He was running in the 6th position. So Sammy Swindell, as we look now at a restart or reset for our heat race number 4, Sammy's going to be in the 6th spot, 1 spot out of a transfer spot. He will line up behind Tim Schaefer. It's going to be Hodenshield Schatz, Alan Crimes, Aaron Ott, and then Tim Schaefer. By the way, Tim and Todd Schaefer not related, 2 different Schaefer tribes. Jack Hodenshield with the Pink Panther on the wing and the R19. You heard us say earlier, or if you're just joining us, Hod last win at Williams Grove, 1997, in the Jack Eldon number 22, and it's been a while since we've seen him look this good at this racetrack.
Boy, and he is looking good. That car is very dominant at this point in the race, but of course it's early. The track's going to be a total different animal when it comes main event time.
There you just saw Sammy Swindell in the number 10 car, the Tom Roth Trucking entry. So we get set now for a restart. We've got 4 laps in the book and 4 laps to go here. Heat race number 4, our final heat race of the night. Hodenshield picks it back up, followed by Schatz, Crimes, Ott, and Tim Schaefer. Adam Wilt in the blue 15 car trying to make something happen on top of the racetrack as Sammy Swindell, man, the front ends are dancing all over the place on the back straightaway. Wilt to the inside of Swindell, puts the slider on Swindell. Swindell cuts it under. Oh, and they make contact, and Wilt is in the fence.
Wilt, a 2-time winner here at Williams Grove this year, in contact with Sammy Swindell. Sammy did a great job turning the car, getting back under him, but unfortunately coming off, didn't clear him as they got off of turn 4.
And Adam Wilt throws the steering wheel out, and now he's got it in. Is he a lefty, Brad? Because I think we're about to see a steering wheel toss. Let's see. It's going to be a big fine if he does do it. Just a little point. Just a little point. He thought better of the toss. That's good. That's smart. Nothing wrong with a little point. Pennsylvania fans are booing Sammy Swindell as he comes by. Here's what happened. Wilt puts the move on Swindell. Swindell cuts it under.
Great job to get under him, but the car pushed right there really bad. Gets in the left front of Wilt, puts him in the wall. Obviously that car is torn up. Oh yes, again, so you can see Sammy's car take a push, but And the crowd, boy, they are not liking Sammy Swindell at this point.
But they are cheering for Adam Wilt, who is walking away. The 22-year-old walking down the front straightaway from York, Pennsylvania. He's a local, a two-time winner here this year at the Grove in his first full year of 410 sprint car competition. We're coming back with more. The hits just keep on coming here at Williams Grove Speedway. You don't want to miss this action. Back to Williams Grove, trying to put the wraps on our final heat race, and it's taken some time to get through these heat races. A lot of yellow flags, a lot of red flags, incidents, all kinds of stuff bumping and banging going on. But we're down to the final few laps here of our final heat race as Tim Schaefer goes to the outside of Alan Crimes in a battle for third. Aaron Ott holding down the final transfer spot. Sammy Swindell did not get a good start in the number 10 car. Maybe something's amiss there.
Yeah, you wonder if it meant that Jacob's ladder did some damage to that car when he got into Adam Wilt. But you know what, Bobby? It's $50,000 to win. It's a national open. Everybody's running hard.
Yep. You can say that again.
It's never easy to win 50 grand, especially here at Williams Grove.
Tim Schaefer being challenged by Aaron Ott. Sammy Swindell reeling those guys in with 1 lap to go. Sammy could be within striking distance. Aaron Ott better hang on in that 25A. Well, he didn't get a very good drive off of the corner number 2, so Swindell probably not going to get there. Sammy gave it everything he could, but he's not going to get into the top 5 as Jack Haudenschild wins our 4th and final heat race, and the 25 of Aaron Ott does hang on for that 5th and final transfer position. Wow, the heat races are done, Brad. I mean, we had some action now.
Yeah, and look at the guys that didn't make it so far out of their heat races. The B main, the C main, a lot of good race cars are going to be in that coming up.
Your official results for the 4th and final heat race. It's the wild child, Jack Haudenschild, picking up the win. Schatz, Crimes, Tim Schaefer, and Aaron Ott move on to the National Open. The rest of the guys will have to go down into B mains or C mains, last chance race we like to call it. They've got their work cut out for them. One guy who's sitting pretty, though, right now, he's qualified for the National Open, is Paul McMahon, and he's with Shane.
He sure is sitting pretty right now. Paul McMahon, you've had yourself an interesting night being able up there to sit up there and watch as you are in the show. How much of that weight is lifted off your shoulders now?
It's a big relief. Here at Williams Grove, it's one of the toughest racetracks to come to in the country, and pill draw today was the biggest thing for qualifying. We got a decent pill draw, qualified 11th, and put us up on the front row, and we're able to win our heat race, so now we're locked in the top 10 of the main event at least, and we got a shot at it tonight.
You've been able to watch the heat races. What have you been able to learn?
The racetrack still hasn't widened out a whole lot yet. The bottom's starting to come in down in 3 and 4. It's still right around the bottom in 1 and 2. But, you know, as more races we get on, it'll widen up some more and make out for a good race tonight.
Well, Paul McMahon's looking forward to the dash, guys.
Yes, he is. Paul McMahon looking good. It's good to see Paulie back out here. He's a well-liked driver out there in the pit area. I think everybody's happy to see him back out here. But as you've seen, this is one tough racetrack here. And the big 3 this year, Schatz, Myers, and Saldana. One of those guys is in big trouble. That's Joey Saldana. We asked him before the night started, what do they think of this place?
It's just a bear. It's just about the toughest place there is. It's, you know, the long straightaways really, a lot of people come here for the first time and think, wow, look at those straightaways. Well, our cars don't draft. You know, it's not like a motorcycle or a cup car or anything like that. We don't. So the straightaways to us are almost kind of, they're more of a nuisance than they are anything because of what they do to the car. You go that far down a straightaway, it really gets the race car out of shape, and then you got to go down there and try to turn it. So, and then not to mention, you got some of the tightest turns, flattest turns that we race on in the country.
Very unique. I mean, you look at straightaways that are here at Williams Grove, and you put the speed and the length to a half mile, and the corners should be a lot wider, and they're not. So you kind of go in here thinking you're racing a quarter mile, but you're running a lot faster, like a half mile.
This is probably one of my favorite places to come to. It's a place you have to have the utmost respect for every little thing you do. You can be that much off and be a mile away from where you need to be. It's a very unique feel. It's a very uncommon feel, and it's something that took me a long time to get used to it.
Brad, how do you get used to racing here at the Grove? And did you ever finally get to a point where you were super comfortable here?
Yeah, I did, but how you get used to it is just laps, running laps. It's you know, we talk about Eldora a lot like that. Just the more laps you can get here, the better off you're going to be. Those long straightaways, I mean, it'll vibrate things off the car, the RPMs that they turn at the end of these straightaways, and then the engine's bogging, especially in 3 and 4. So it's very hard on equipment, rear end gears and that kind of thing, and very unnerving for the drivers.
Well, Aaron Crocker-Evernham, this is the 164th World of Outlaws Sprint Car Series event contested here. So there's been a lot of racing here, and I guess the guy you're with, he's had his fair share of laps here at the Grove.
Yeah, I think Tim Schaefer's run quite a few races here. Finished fourth in the heat race, final transfer spot. Kind of a wild heat race. What do you think's creating all these problems?
It just seems like a weird night. You see a lot of engine problems, a lot of things going on, and 50 grand on the line.
Jason Sides mentioned there's a slick spot entering the bottom of 3. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
I'd say it's just starting to slicken up right there, and it's accurate in the other spot. So it's making it tough on everybody, and it's just going to be a great race later.
Back to you guys up in the booth.
Tim Schaefer has himself a spot in. Of course, we're transferring the top 5 into the feature event, so we've got 20 of them already qualified. We're going to add 4 more through the last chance showdown. You see Sammy Swindell into Adam Wilt, and Adam Wilt, trouble on the front straightaway. Lots more racing yet to come. Stay with us. You're watching the World of Outlaws Sprint Car Series on Speed. The Harvest Moon is, boy, I think it might be affecting the races here tonight. Tomorrow, 9 p.m. Eastern, Dave Despain is on vacation, so be sure to join guest host Robin Miller when 4-time Indy 500 champion and racing legend A.J. Foyt comes to Wind Tunnel. Also, Gene Romero, Motorcycle Hall of Famer. That's 2 of motorsport's legendary figures on the Wind Tunnel Sunday, 9 p.m. Eastern time, only on Speed. Steve Kinzer taking a look at his race car right now. Some fireworks going off at one end of the racetrack. Scott Gherkin was down there on one knee looking at that car. How about an engine change, Brad? These engines, they cost about $40,000 these days, but how quick can you change one? What goes into changing one? That's the focus of the next 410 Insider.
I'm Scott Gherkin, crew chief on Steve Kinzer's number 11 World of Outlaws Sprint Car. Today we're going to talk about engine changes. In an engine change, everything's set up to be done as quickly as possible. First thing that has to happen is the headers come off, fuel lines, throttle linkage, and those kinds of things. The radiator's set up with loose buttons and quick disconnects where it can be removed quickly and easily. Now let's go in the trailer and look at an engine that's ready to go in the car. This is one of 3 spare engines ready to go in the car. These are the quick disconnect lines for the fuel lines, quick disconnects for the radiator. Some teams have went as far as mounting the radiator on the front of the engine so you're not dealing with hot water. This is the oil tank full of Quaker State oil ready to go. All this is done because time is of the essence. We can change these engines at a little as 9 minutes.
9 minutes, boy, that is amazing that they can get it done that quickly. Our Quaker State 410 Insider there is Mr. Scott Gherkin going to work on that 11 car. Shane Andrews, give us an update now. What's the deal on the 11 car? Is it all ready?
Well, Scott and the crew have been working diligently down here. They changed the complete rear end assembly on the car after that spin and getting hit by the Todd Schaefer number 88. Changed the rear end, changed the bars. They feel confident with everything, and they're going to be ready to go. A lot of changes in the pit area. Aaron Crocker, you have one as well.
Speaking of engine changes just a moment ago, Sam Hafertepe actually changed motors before time trials. What caused you to have to change motor?
Butterfly bolt came out of the injection. It's just a shame. Really good motor we had there. We had to put in a, one that wasn't one of our best and has a lot of time on it, but guys managed to get it out there, and we still ended up putting on a solid lap.
You've had a great season going so far. You start 4th in the B main. How do you feel about that? You think you'll be able to transfer?
Oh yeah, I think we'll definitely be able to transfer. Just it's a shame that we come here with high hopes and to have your night kind of have a glitch in it like that early. It's just it hurts a lot, but we'll try to make the best of it and start in the back of this feature and see if we can't get up through there.
Sam and his family also own Lone Star Speedway, where the World of Outlaws will be visiting very soon.
It's overstating the obvious, Brad, but 59 cars entered. There can only be one winner. That means there's going to be 58 losers, and we've seen some long faces here tonight.
Well, we talked about it in the open. That gets no tougher than right here at Williams Grove for all these teams. Sam Hafertepe, though, having a great year, the best year he's ever had in his short career, and he needs to keep his chin up a little bit. I know it's tough here tonight.
Yeah, the future's bright for that guy. I don't think there's any question about it. He's a racer to keep an eye on. Well, the fans enjoying some fireworks here, and the cars and crews, everybody getting ready for the feature events. They are yet to run. They're coming up next, so stay with us. You're watching the World of Outlaws Sprint Car Series on Speed. We welcome you back to Williams Grove Speedway.
October 24th on Speed, Matt Crafton will look to gain more ground on points leader Ron Hornaday when the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series trades some paint at one of the series' tightest tracks. Don't miss the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series live from Martinsville, October 24th, 12:30 p.m. Eastern. NASCAR on Speed. Be there. Cars out on the racetrack now for the C main. Among them, Stevie Smith and Tim Kading, a couple of very well-known drivers. Keith Kaufman's in this one. Jason Johnson's in it. And Todd Schaefer bringing out that backup car to tag the rear of the C main event. All of these guys trying to get into the B main event. Stevie Smith there, listed from Broken Arrow, Oklahoma, but of course grew up right around these parts and has a home in Broken Arrow, but I think still a lot of people consider him from New Oxford, Pennsylvania. Let's go to Shane Andrews, who's down there with a driver who's at Williams Grove Speedway racing for the first time in his career this weekend.
That's right, Bobby. Brad Sweet, very first time you have raced here at Williams Grove Speedway. What's your impression so far?
It's a pretty awesome event. You know, it's a tough racetrack. Definitely the competition's toughest I've ever seen. So, you know, it's exciting to be out here. I don't get to run much wing sprint car stuff. So, you know, to come to a race like this is pretty special to me. I just got to thank all my guys.
You ran some all-star racing races with Casey Kane Racing, and now you're out here on the World of Outlaw Tour. Tell us a little bit about the schedule, if you can.
Yeah, we're just, you know, I run Casey's USAC stuff, and then, you know, whenever I get a chance, he let me run some wing stuff, and then, you know, at the end of this year, we had an opening here, and, you know, I was fortunate that he let me run, you know, these last 10 races with the Outlaws. So I'm just excited. Just got to thank DirecTV and Bonsai and, you know, Casey for letting me do this.
From one California boy to another, let's go to Bobby Gerald.
Thank you. We've had a chance to watch Brad Sweet race an awful lot out there in Northern California, and he's definitely a guy to keep an eye on. Really good in a non-wing midget, Brad. He won the Belleville Midget Nationals last year. A versatile young racer.
Very versatile, as you said. You're racing midgets, non-wing, wing stuff, pavement, whatever it takes. He's done a great job in all of it. Of course, he's talking about Bonsai, his crew chief, Dean Bonsai Bruns. They're working on the 19 car. And they got to be pretty happy with where they're at. There's a lot of good race cars that didn't do as well as they have so far.
We're going to see a lot of Brad Sweet next year. He won't be in that car full time, but he'll be running for Casey Kane Racing, bouncing around. We'll see him at plenty of World of Outlaws Sprint Car Series events. Brian Ellenberger's on the outside of the front row of our C main. Brian Ellenberger is going, most likely, Brad, to be the Kevin Gobrecht Rookie of the Year for the World of Outlaws Sprint Car Series powered by Quaker State. And Brian's a Western Pennsylvania guy there from Butler, Pennsylvania, but he's run around here quite a few times as well.
But not a lot of experience for a guy to jump into the World of Outlaws series like he did, and I talked to him, and he said he is coming back next year, and obviously anybody that can run a full year and come back, it's an advantage to come back, to go back to these racetracks you've never seen before. So having a year under his belt, we'll see if he can back it up next year.
Brian Ellenberger's in that 22 car, the TI 22. To his inside is the 0 of Rick Lafferty. Ryan Bulkey, Johnny Mackison in row 2, Tim Kading and McIntyre in row 3, Stevie Smith and Keith Kaufman in row number 4. And the green flag is in the air for your C main. 10 laps. The top 2 will transfer. We've got some hitters coming from the back, including Stevie Smith, Tim Kading, and Todd Schaefer.
And did you see Stevie Smith? He was going to go to the inside of the 27 car and actually had to change, go to the outside. He drove by 2 cars. The drivers talked about the racetrack widening out earlier. All night we kept talking to the guys, and it has definitely widened out. You can see it start to shine. Guys moving up higher on the racetrack.
Stevie Smith in the number 1 car going after Johnny Mackison down the back straightaway. Mackison, the red 65, working down low.
Johnny Mackison, another PA posse that actually retired for a few years, back at it again.
Again, Smith needs to get into the top 2 to try to make something happen. And he's not going to have provisionals to save him here, Brad. He's not in the mix for the Williams Grove track points because they don't qualify here on a regular basis. They run a handicap system in their weekly program. And Stevie Smith doesn't participate in that. He only runs and shows where you time trial. Tonight it was time trials, ironically, that really bit him.
Yeah, not high enough in the points, as you said, to maybe take a track provisional, and not running with the World of Outlaws, so he has no World of Outlaws provisional.
Lafferty's out in front. The battle is for second right now. That's Ellenberger ahead of Ryan Bulkey. Tim Kading digging for some traction there in the 4th position. Kading now starting to operate on the high side of the racetrack, has gotten around Ryan Bulkey and into 3rd, and Todd Schaefer has issues in the red 88.
Remember, this is a backup car. After he crashed that other car, they pulled this down, so maybe a line came loose, oil line, but he's going to pull it to the infield and take a look at that and maybe get a provisional, as we talked about earlier. He is the points leader, so he may be eligible for a track provisional to start the A main.
Boy, Rick Lafferty's putting hurting on this field right now. He's way out in front. The battle, though, is for second. What I just saw Tim Kading's hand come out of the side of the cockpit there. What was that about? Coming off of turn number 4. His left hand was waving out the side of the cockpit as he chases Ellenberger.
Yeah, I don't know if one of his crewmen are down in the corner giving him signals, and he was trying to signal back to one of them. What that was all about. There slides a little high. Ellenberger pulls away down the front straightaway.
3 to go for Tim Kading. He's got to get there. He has to finish in the top 2 to be able to keep on marching and move on. Only 2 will advance to our last chance showdown, also known as the B main event. Right now, Ellenberger's got it in hand. Flagman, yellow and white flag with a dip up high, a dip down low. What does all that stuff mean?
It means 2 laps to go. When you see that white and yellow, it's 2 telling the drivers they've got 2 laps to go. Watch them here, and the white flag will come out. They come down the front straightaway.
Bulky trying to get back after Tim Kading in a fight for 3rd. White flag is out, 1 lap to go. That's Ellenberger, the first car on your screen, running 2nd. Tim Kading running in 3rd. And there is the leader of the race, Rick Lafferty. Oh, yellow flag is out. Caution, hold the phone. We are not ready to put the checkered flag out on this one. There's trouble. Looks like Johnny Mackison in car number 65 who has come to a stop.
Yeah, and you can see a line of oil behind that race car, or some sort of fluids there on the racetrack as he rolls to a stop out of turn 4. Now, it's Tim Kading. This opens the door for Tim Kading to try to make something happen on the restart. Brian Ellenberger is going to have to be on his game, make sure he doesn't spin the wheels on the start. And maybe more importantly, what line does he go to as he goes into the corner, turn 1? If he goes high, jumps that cushion, opens the door for Tim Kading on the inside.
Well, if I'm him, I'm going high because I'm pretty sure Kading's going high.
Yeah, I don't know if if he's thinking that. We can see that from up here. We watch it, and we know Tim Kading likes to run the high side, but I talked about that earlier. These guys with no rearview mirrors or no crewmen telling them that protect your outside, that kind of thing, because they can see it down there. We can see it up here, but Tim Kading and Ellenberger can't see exactly what each other's doing down there.
So Tim Kading will line up right behind Brian Ellenberger as we get set for our restart. Taking a look at the schedule, the remaining schedule for the World of Outlaws: Rolling Wheels Raceway, Elbridge, New York; Lone Star Speedway in Kilgore, Texas; and then the World Finals, of course, November 7th. The finals will be broadcast on Speed, but let's go back to that October 10th date. On October 9th, the day before that, there will be a 4-car exhibition at the New York State Fairgrounds, followed up by the October 10th race with the World of Outlaws racing at Rolling Wheels. All part of Super Dirt Week, which kicks off this Wednesday, and you can catch all the action Saturday, October 31st at 8 p.m. only on Speed. But I want to talk a little bit about that 4-car exhibition on the Syracuse Moody Mile. That's going to be something else. Steve Kinser's going to participate. Jason Myers, we know. I think Jason Sides is another one of them. That's going to be something.
It'll be interesting to see what the speeds they turn there at the mile, because it was,
Kading went low, and so did Ellenberger. That opens the door for Bulky down the back straightaway, and Ryan Bulky is going to go from 4th to 2nd.
Wow, what a turn of events here. Ellenberger thought he just had to protect his line to keep the 83 behind him, and Bulky steals it, goes by both of them.
The white flag is out. Kading and Ellenberger continue to fight, and Ryan Bulky's getting away from both of them by about 5 car lengths down the back straightaway. He has the 2nd and final transfer spot. So Ryan Bulky snookers a couple of drivers in the waning laps on a restart, and he will put himself into the last chance showdown in car number 18. Good job of driving right there, taking advantage of what was in front of him, what was going on in front of him.
The emotional highs of lows of racing. Get a look at it here. Kading and Ellenberger almost get together. Kading slides high, Bulky on the inside. Great run off of turn 2. Drives by both of them, 1 straightaway.
Wow, nice move.
Obviously, the highs are, he's the one that's on the high end of it right
exactly.
now. The other guy's pretty low right now, so they're going to have to sit and watch.
And congratulations to Rick Lafferty on a solid drive right there. We didn't get to talk about him a lot because there was no one anywhere near him. So there's your results. It's Lafferty, Bulky. Those two will move on. Everybody else lock and load unless you can muster up a provisional. Todd Schaefer might have one. I don't think anybody else will out of that group. We're coming back with the last chance showdown when we return to Williams Grove. Welcome back to Williams Grove. Getting set for the dash. That is coming up next. 6 laps determines the starting order for the first 5 rows of the A main event. And we are ready for a start. Right up there on the front row, it's Brian Monteith and Greg Hodnick. Greg Hodnick gets the jump in car number 22, and the driver who defeated the World of Outlaws Sprint Car Series combatants twice already this year now has the lead in the dash. And of course, the dash winner starts on the pole position, Brad.
PA Posse on the front row. Racetrack is wide. You see some cars sliding through the middle. There's smoke out of Monteith's car.
A lot of smoke from Brian Monteith in car number 21. Jason Myers running in the 3rd spot. As they head down the back straightaway, it's Hodnick, Monteith, Myers, 1, 2, 3.
Jason Myers sitting there in 3rd. He's got to wonder if that's an oil leak or, you know, something serious with the engine. The last thing Myers wants to do is run over the back. If Monteith has a problem, that engine blows up or something, for to climb over the back of him. So I'm sure that's in Myers' mind right now.
Hott and Shilton Schatz going at it right now, trading sliders at each end of the racetrack. Now Schatz has the advantage. A little sideways there for Hodenshield. That's going to cost him.
That wiggle waggle we talked about earlier down the straightaway. You see Hodenshield tried to change the line, get in too hot and heavy.
I like that. Really I like that term, the wiggle waggle. Is that official? That's official Brad Doty terminology.
That's it right there.
Danny Lasowski in the red number 6, working in front of the Wild Child. Lasowski, I believe, has picked up 5th position now after that last lap.
Contrails off the wings. You see the squeezing the moisture out of the air down these long straightaways.
The Casey's General Store, car number 6, working in the 5th position. 1 lap to go. Greg Hodnett out in front with no worries right now. The smoking has subsided from Brian Monteith as he continues to run 2nd. And you see the separation. Big gap for Greg Hodnett. He has a big lead. He'll turn for home, and the checkered flag, the pole position for the National Open, is going to go to Greg Hodnett. He'll have posse member Brian Monteith on the outside of the front row. Myers and Schatz, the 2 outlaws going at it, only separated by 9 points. They're going to be lining up side by side in row number 2. Doesn't get much better than that, Brad. It's almost like we set that thing up.
It's working out to be that way. But they got to worry about catching that guy right there if they're going to win this race.
Yep. A physical fitness freak is Greg Hodnett, the driver of car number 22. He is one in-shape driver, and he is the winner of our dash. Talked to him at the very beginning of the show about how he had defeated the Outlaws already twice this year. Brian Monteith finishes 2nd. Again, as you look at that official results there, your Armor All official results, just remember that that's how they're going to line up. Those will be the first 5 rows of tonight's National Open feature event. Well, one guy who did not have the National Open he was hoping for is Stevie Smith, and he's down with Shane Andrews.
Well, the 89 and 91 winner of the National Open won't be into this year's National Open. Stevie, what happened to set you guys behind tonight?
Well, we just got timed in real bad. We had a new fuel tank on. It was getting air in the fuel system, and that really put us behind. It's hard to get out nowadays. It's a tough field, but you know, when I think about this whole year, this is our first bad night, so I better feel pretty good about that.
Well, one bad night is keeping them out of the National Open, guys.
But as he talked about, it has been a fantastic year. 11 A-Main wins overall, Shane, in 2009. That's in 50 A-Main starts for the 2-time Williams Grove National Open winner. You saw the bridge there. A quick look. One of the unique things about the Grove here, the fans can go from the infield over to the other side of the racetrack and maybe get a beer at Beer Hill. Welcome back to the Grove, as it's known, and look at the packed infield. Williams Grove National Open first started in 1963 when Gordon Johncock was the winner of the very first event, and it's grown in stature year by year. A few years back, Brad, about 3 years ago, they bumped it up to $50,000 to win, and that just, I think, added some fuel to the fire, the legend of this race.
Kind of just elevated even that much more. That's absolutely right. You know, drivers talk about, well, we don't think about what it pays to win, but I think they do, and plus the fans do. It just pays that kind of money. Everybody knows that we're going to see a show like tonight where the drivers are really going for it.
Let's go down to Aaron Crocker-Evernham in the pits.
Donnie, it looks like you'll be starting 4th tonight in the A feature. I believe you told me something earlier, like if you start in the top 10, you're going to victory lane. Do you still feel that confident?
Yeah, I got a great race car. These guys on the Armor All crew have just done wonders with it. This is a new car tonight. It's an experimental thing, so we're just trying to keep getting things better, and it's probably one of the better cars I've ever been in. So we just got to wait for the racetrack to come around to us a little bit. It's still really fast. I mean, they're going to be all over the place, and we've just used everything right to this point as a test session, and now we got our Chevy motor tuned up. We're ready to go.
Are you going to make any big adjustments for the A-main?
Just tires. You know, we're going to probably lose a little bit of stagger. And it's going to hurt us at the beginning of the race, but it'll definitely help at the end. So, you know, we got the car right where we want it. We're just playing the tire game now.
We have Shane over with the winner of the dash.
Well, the World of Outlaws have been here twice to Williams Grove in 2009, and Greg Hodnett has beaten them both times. You are now sitting in the #1 position for the National Open. What do you do to make it 3 in a row now?
Not let anybody pass me. No, it's going to be really tough. There's a lot of great cars. Starting on front, obviously a huge advantage. Jason Myers, Donnie Schott right behind us. We just got to get through traffic, try not to make any huge mistakes, try not to run over anybody, you know, do something stupid like I normally do. But yeah, if we can just stay in there, hang in there, I think we'll have a good night. Obviously, we got a lot of great competitors behind us, so just have to do the best we can.
Well, guys, Greg Hodnett is looking for the natural hat trick at Williams Grove with the World of Outlaws this year.
A little hockey terminology, just in time for the start of the NHL season there by my man Shane Andrews, who loves that stuff. All right, last chance showdown. 12 laps. The top 4 finishers advance to the A-main. This is it's the last chance, Brad. That's why we call it the last chance. Unless you have a provisional, and there probably will be some provisional starters in the National Open tonight. This is the way you've got to do it. You have to finish in the top 4, and you've got your work cut out for you in this one because this is one stacked last chance showdown.
Well, they only allow 2 provisionals, 2 for the World of Outlaws and 2 for the local Williams Grove competitors. So there's a lot of guys that aren't going to get in, even based on a provisional.
Now, we do know that Joey Saldana, in case you're wondering, Saldana fans, he does have a provisional in his back pocket. So we expect that unless he can get up there into the top 4, he'll probably be one of the guys that uses one. Joey is starting 13th. You're on board with Joey right now. Armor All onboard camera.
If my stats are right, he only has 1 provisional left throughout the rest of the season, where Schatz and Myers each still have the 2 that they're awarded in July, the mid-season. So they both still have theirs so far, but I think Joey's only has 1 left.
You see the starting grid crawling across the top. Ed Lynch Jr. is going to be on the pole of this one with Brian Lepo outside of the front row. Steve Kinser's made repairs to his car number 11. He'll be inside of row number 2. Sam Haferteep is on the outside. As we look back through the field, Lucas Wolf, who had the incident with Darren Pittman earlier, he's going to be starting inside of row number 4. Brad Sweet is in this field. We heard from Brad. Lance DeWeese, Joey Saldana, Sammy Swindell, Cody Dara. There is a bunch of good racers here, and there is the king in the green car number 11, the Quaker State sponsored machine, starting inside of row number 2, and you know he wants to make up for a rare miscue.
Yeah, absolutely, and that, but this B main and even the C main, that is why the crowd, you see the crowd here, that everybody knows when they come here, this is the kind of race they're going to see, and they're going to see a lot of good heavy hitters all throughout the night, throughout the alphabet, basically, to try to get into the A main.
Yeah, you could safely say that this would be a stacked feature event at any racetrack in the country. Here it is, the last chance showdown to the National Open. We're going 12 laps with the top 4 transferring to the feature event. Ed Lynch Jr. gets the jump. Lepo coming back on the outside. They'll fight for the lead down the back straightaway, and it's going to be Ed Lynch who leads them into turn number 3. Kinser is in the 4th position.
You can see Lepo get out of the throttle just past the bridge as the front wheel slammed back down on the racetrack.
How much has the racetrack changed from the beginning of the night to what we're seeing right now?
Look how much wider it is. The top groove, or the cushion we call it, is pushed way up now, Bobby. The track, we talk to the drivers all night long and say we need the track to widen out. It's wide right now.
Kinser trying to go around the outside of Sam Haferteep Jr. He's able to make the pass. Steve Kinser goes from 4th to 3rd.
Oh, some smoke there. Now remember, we see this a lot. The oil tank's right up there in front of the left header. And that could clear itself up here when these engines maybe not up to temperature, pushes some of the oil out.
So Steve Kinser smoking, running in the 3rd spot. Sam Haferteep Jr. running in 4th. Lucas Wolf is in the 5W car running in 5th. Within striking distance is Mark Smith, one of the top guns in the Pennsylvania posse. He runs 6th. You see the interval between Kinser and Haferteep last time around as Ed Lynch leads Brian Lepo.
And it does look like that oil smoke is starting to clear up on Steve Kinser's car.
Battle for the lead. Lynch in the 2L. Lynch only runs a handful of races at Williams Grove, as we talked about earlier. Lernerville is his home stomping ground.
Man, that is about as close as you can get without banging wheels. Those two guys off of turn 4.
Lepo around the outside, and makes the pass. That was sweet.
And that was bold, too. When you can do that, especially out of turn 2 at Williams Grove, and look at him driving away from the 2L. Ed Lynch now looks like Kinzer starting to close in on Ed Lynch.
Brian Lepo has finished third 3 times this season at Williams Grove, but he's winless as far as A-mains go in 54 A-main starts. Right now, he has the lead in the last chance showdown. Mark Smith working on Lucas Wolf. That's a battle just behind the transfer cars. Wolf still holding down the 5th position as he chases Sam Haferteep Jr. Lucas Wolf, you know, Darren Pittman said he didn't win a race on the Outlaw Tour this year. But the fact is, there are a lot of guys that didn't win a race on the Outlaws Tour this year. And Lucas Wolf, I think if he was running locally or even regionally, he'd be a guy that wins 10, 15 feature events.
Yeah, if he'd have stayed home here in Pennsylvania, that's exactly right. But chose to go out with the World of Outlaws and try to make it happen out there. But, man, look at the 71 Lepo, how far out in front he is pulled away from the field as Kinzer gets by.
Ed Lynch, they'll go side by side down the front straightaway into turn number 1. Lynch comes right back on Kinzer. Kinzer now dives down low. They're trading position and giving each other a lot of room.
Yeah, remember, the top 4 go to the A-main, so these guys not going to do anything really stupid here. Just back and forth like this. So you got to do that to try to see where your race car runs. You've got to run as hard as you can. It's sprint car racing to try to feel that race car under any circumstances. You see Joey Saldana back here.
Joey right now is running in the 13th position behind Sammy Swindell. Armor all on car camera. Shows you a unique look there as you see Joey's helmet and see how he works the wheel. Back to the front, it's Brian Lepo in car number 71, continuing to set the pace, a blistering pace. He is almost 5 seconds ahead of second position right now. Steve Kinzer, the checkered flag flies, and that's going to do it. Brian Lepo is the winner of your last chance showdown. Steve Kinzer finishes 2nd, Ed Lynch 3rd, and Sam Haferteep Jr. will bring home the 4th and final transfer spot into the National Open. Doesn't take a lot of time to whip off 12 laps here at the Grove, does it?
No, not at these speeds, and the lap times are turning around here. Now Lepo go back in the crew. Speaking of the crew, Stevie Smith's dad, this is actually brother-in-law, Stevie Smith, and so his dad works on that race car.
Brian Lepo, Steve Kinzer, Ed Lynch Jr., Sam Haferteep Jr., the top 4. They are the ones that will advance. You see also there was some good movement by Cody Dara from 14th up to 7th, but he ran out of laps and did not get there. So the defending champion of the National Open, most likely watching from the pits when we get ready to start our 40-lapper. Brian Lepo taking off the gloves. He's safely in the National Open. Who's going to win this? Donnie Schatz says he is. We're going to find out. Stay tuned. We're just done with the last chance showdown, and Shane Andrews is with the winner.
Brian Lepo put a hurting on these guys, a 5-second win in that last chance showdown, but Brian, it came at a small cost. You were hollering U-joint to the crew. What happened?
Yeah, I tell you, it's the year we've been having. I mean, we just kind of, anything that can happen's happened. I believe with like 3 or 4 to go there, we did, the U-joint started to let go. It's just one of them things. I mean, we've done it before this year, so I think that's what happened. So just got to get these guys can get it changed up there, and I think we can pass some cars in the feature. I look forward to it.
What's going to be the strategy for the 40-lapper? You got a long ways to go.
Well, I mean, like I said, we were unfortunate enough we didn't make the dash, so we just got to get our swope machine, where they aren't, and just kind of. I think we're good enough to pass on the bottom. I think we're good enough to pass on top. So hopefully we can, like I said, knock a couple positions off.
A lot of things happening down here in the pit area. Aaron Crocker-Evernham has more.
Sam Haferteep finished 4th in the final transfer spot into the A-main. Looks like that new power plant is working for you. How has the track changed since the heat race?
Track dried off a little bit, so it definitely helped us for the B-main, being a little down on power. But, yeah, it's going to slick off a little more in the feature, and we didn't hit it at all in the B, but we'll get her dialed in here for the feature. What kind of changes are you going to make for the feature? We just take a little bit of stagger out, and, we got a lot of wing movement left on our wing valve, so, it's where driver comes in a late race, and hopefully I can outsmart some of these guys, even though I got less experience around here, and see what we can do.
Sam may have less experience, but he's had a great season so far.
Yeah, he did, Aaron, and he was one of the top Outlaws finishers for the World of Outlaws Sprint Car Series. When he first ran here in May, he finished 12th at Williams Grove, so he did a very good job. And of course, they'll be involved in the promotion at Kilgore Speedway, Kilgore at Lone Star Speedway, one of the races still coming up on the World of Outlaws Sprint Car Series schedule. So Sam and his family very involved. Getting ready now for 40 laps, though, Brad. It's you better have that car right. That's a long way, a lot of laps around this racetrack, and anything can happen. Talking to Donnie Schatz earlier, kind of interesting to hear him say they're kind of an experimental car, doing a lot of changes. But talk about taking a stagger out with the bigger left rear tire. They're going for the last 10 laps. There's Steve Smith, Stevie's dad. Big Steve, the Black Bandit. Talking it over with driver Brian Lepo. Let's go back and take a look at Brian Lepo and what he was able to do in the Last Chance Showdown. Here he is. He's going to be able to get around Ed Lynch Jr. and it's pretty impressive when you can get right up on the cushion and just drive around a guy at Williams Grove. Well, especially when you could see him flinch going into one. It looked like he was going to go to the inside. At the last minute, he turned it to the outside and still drove around Ed Lynch Jr. That was bold. So Steve Smith giving some advice to Brian Lepo as the final instructions go out now for our Williams Grove National Open feature event. That is coming up next. Will Donnie Schatz be able to call his own shot? He says he's going to win. Hang on. Welcome back to the Grove. Tonight, the Warriors of Formula One return to the land of the rising sun and back to Suzuka, battleground of destructive speeds, fantastic finishes, and championship dreams. Don't miss Formula One, the Japanese Grand Prix, live tonight at 12:30 a.m. Eastern, only on Speed. The Beer Hill Gang, there they are, Brad. The world-famous Beer Hill Gang. Seen on Speed. Yeah, they have a lot of fun over there at the end of the back straightaway in turn number 3. Let's go back down to the pits and check in with Shane.
Well, Brian Monteith is strapping into his potent ride. He has 3 career feature wins here at Williams Grove, and the 4th one could be the biggest of his life, a $50,000 National Open win. You're starting second. What are your chances tonight?
I think we're pretty good. Yeah, the car's been pretty good all night, and made a couple of changes to see if we can make it 40 laps up front.
What's the strategy when they drop the green going into turn number 1?
Put it to the floor and see what happens.
He sits in the seat, but the Edge is going to use the Edge. Aaron?
Daniel Lasowski, you start 5th on tonight's feature. What kind of change did you make? I hear people are taking away stagger, moving in the right rear, trying to tighten the car up a little bit. Is that what you've been doing?
Yeah, definitely did that. We from the dash, we definitely moved the right rear wheel in a bunch and took some stagger out of it. You know, we start right behind Donnie Schatz, so he knows his way around here pretty good. Along with Barry Jackson, we hope we can keep this Casey's General Store in victory lane.
Is there anything special you do with the 40-lap feature? It's a little bit longer than a usual feature here at Williams Grove.
Actually, I'm better if we run 40 nonstop because on the caution I get talking to myself and I mess up all the time. So I hope they run 40 nonstop.
Back up to you guys.
Good stuff there from the dude. And we heard from Brian Monteith first. I want to reiterate again that Monteith has already said that he has plans to run the World Finals this year. He's going to show up at the dirt track at Lowe's Motor Speedway for the first time in his career. So we're excited about that. It's always good to see some new blood.
That event just keeps getting bigger and bigger every year down there. And the time of year is great, too, because a lot of these guys are no longer racing, so they have that weekend open. Interesting to see how many cars show up for that one.
Joey Saldana has taken a provisional. Let's clear that up. We've got Joey Saldana and Brad Sweet, 2 car owner provisionals. Saldana and Brad Sweet will both get in there. Todd Schaefer and Mark Smith will take track provisionals. They're the top 2 guys in the points here at Williams Grove Speedway. Now, Aaron mentioned stagger during that interview. Let's give a real quick explanation for the fans who aren't familiar with that terminology.
Well, you're going to see stagger over there in the Bill Hare gang over turn 3. But
stagger down the stairs, is that what it is?
But we're talking about something different on the race car. Stagger means how much the difference between the left rear tires, you see it there, the circumference or diameter between that and the right rear. The more stagger you have on the car, the more it rolls around the corner. You do that when a track's heavy. When it slicks off, you go to a bigger left rear tire. That gives the car more drive up off the corner of the racetrack, moving the right rear. And you heard Lasowski say that. The more you tuck that right rear and move it in toward the frame, the more it hooks the car as the car enters the corner. That tightens it up on entry. The left rear, bigger left rear, gives it more drive off the corner.
And right over the top of that left rear tire stands Shane Andrews leaning in to talk to Jason Myers.
Well, you know, guys, what I like about this time of year is it's the cool guys that stay cool under pressure. Jason Myers, you're searching for your first Williams Grove win. This is a biggie. What's the strategy?
Well, we just got to go out and see if we can't win this race. You know, our good friend Jimmy Nace is at home. He's been real sick, and I know he's watching here tonight. And we're going to go out and see if we can't win this thing for him here tonight. He's been helping us out this year. We got a good race car here. And see if we can go out and win our first race for Charlie Garrett here at Williams Grove Speedway, maybe get closer to winning our first championship.
Big picture, you're 9 points out. Is that something you have to toss out the window when the visor goes down and the green comes out?
Well, I mean, you worry about winning the race. If we can win the race, we might be only be 7 or 5 points here leaving tonight. So we'll go out and get all we can. We're starting right next to Donnie, and what more could the fans ask for?
He's absolutely right. What more could you ask for, Bobby?
Yeah, and let's explain how the points work here. It's basically a 2-point drop all the way through, with the exception of at the top of the field. The winner will get 4 points more than second place. Then it drops by 2 all the way down till you get to 24th, and it'll stay actually 24th, 25th, and all the provisionals will get the same amount of points. So that should explain a little bit of that. Jason Meyer strapping in and getting ready. He starts right behind Donnie Schatz, or right beside Donnie Schatz, as he chases him in the battle for the championship. Back to Williams Grove. Here's your Just Plugs race recap for the night. Pat Cannon out of the box with a quick time earlier tonight. Surprised a few people. Pat Cannon doing a nice job by picking up the fastest time of the night. Our Quaker State quick timer was Pat Cannon. In the D main, there was a little bit of action. A hard hit coming up here for Tim Glatfelter.
Right rear tire blew as he entered turn 1. Tried to keep it out of the wall, but unfortunately went up there and tagged the wall, got upside down.
Pennsylvania driver in trouble in heat racing. No short of action there. Stevie Smith having his problems as he got into the inside berm there on the front straightaway. Jason Myers running away with his heat race, doing a nice job. He's been pretty strong all night long as he enters tonight's feature event, 9 points shy of Donnie Schatz. Trouble in this heat race, Darren Pittman and Lucas Wolf getting together. We'll see it one more time, Brad.
And Darren Pittman on the 17 comes down. Lucas Wolf, the good run on the inside, a big run, gets into him. Darren Pittman out. That just tore that race car. He's there very angry. He's going to try to go down and have some words with Lucas Wolf. Frustration there boiling over as he enters the trailer.
Tough night for Cody Darragh, defending champion of the National Open. Up out of the groove there and then got it sideways, bounced into the fence or into the wall down there at the exit of turn number 2. Also a tough night for the King, Steve Kinzer, who got sideways on his own, collected Todd Schaefer, did a lot of damage to Schaefer's machine.
Another look at it as Steve Kinzer loses the handle. Schaefer with no place to go.
Lance Deweese and Sammy Swindell, some good action there. Clean slide job by Sammy, and Deweese gets himself sideways and into trouble. And that left Brett Marks with nowhere to go. Swindell trading slide jobs with Adam Wilt, and then getting into Adam Wilt, and Wilt subsequently into the wall on the front straightaway. In the last chance showdown, Steve Kinzer, a lot of smoke out of that number 11 machine.
That was early on, maybe the engine not up to temperature. It did slow down, but you can see oil all over the left rear tire.
He was able to keep on trucking though, and was able to make a pass on Ed Lynch Jr. And Steve Kinzer did eventually put himself into a transfer position. Brian Lepo chasing down Ed Lynch. Battle for the lead of the last chance showdown. Lepo goes around the outside of Lynch and takes off and runs away with our last chance showdown. And that is where we are at right now as we get set. They push cars off for our 40-lap Williams Grove National Open. There's the King, Steve Kinzer in car number 11. Shane Andrews, an update.
Yes, Bobby. Steve Kinzer's been doing this for a long time, as both you and Brad Doty can contest. 55-year-old driver out of Bloomington, Indiana, has been racing with a bulged disc in his back. Of course, that hit he took over here tonight in turn number 4 didn't help matters any. I asked him how he felt. He says, you know, it's there. This week, he will be going to see Dr. Trammell in Indianapolis about that bulged disc, and don't be surprised if he has surgery over the offseason.
Well, thank you very much for that, Shane, and I'm glad that you were able to bring that story to light because, you know, Steve Kinzer travels around. He doesn't have a public relations representative spitting out things to the different internet sites, you know, every Monday giving updates on exactly what's going on with him. But he's not a guy that's going to make excuses, but we know he's been less than 100%.
Well, it's been bad enough. I've heard reports that his left arm will actually go completely numb at times, and that's obviously not a good sign when you're driving a race car. I mean, it's not a danger thing. You can still control the race car, but it takes your mental attitude out of it, basically. When you have anything else going on like that, that takes your focus away from driving the race car, that's not a good thing. And as you said, he won more than 3 races his rookie season, and he's driving injured. He's
He's a tough guy.
Yes,
he's playing hurt.
And
No
he's not,
question
he's
about
not,
it.
and as a driver, you never want to show a weakness. Right. And I'm sure that's in Steve Kinser's mind. Don't let these guys think that you're playing hurt. You know, you don't want to give them any advantage there.
But he's also not a guy that's going to make any alibis for himself either.
Right.
You know, Steve's never been a woe is me type of guy. He pretty much takes the hand that he's dealt and plays those cards. So Steve Kinser racing hurt here tonight at the Grove and raced himself into the 40-lap National Open feature event. Let's check out our super clean start of the race starting grid, and here's the way this baby is going to go down. It's going to be Greg Hodnett and Brian Monteith, the driver known as the Edge, up on the front row of this one. Jason Myers and Donnie Schatz. We've talked about it all night. The points battle, 9 points separating the two. They will line up side by side in row 2. Danny Lasowski and the Wild Child, Jack Hodenschild, in row number 3. Wild Child's been fantastic tonight. Chad Layton's had success at Williams Grove. He'll line up alongside our quick timer, Pat Cannon. Paul McMahon making the rare appearance here at the Grove alongside Brooke Tacknell. Ed Lynch Jr. and Aaron Ott, son of the engine builder. Dave Ely and Brian Lepo, the B-main winner, and back in row 7, Jim Siegel and Steve Kinser will be in row 8. You see the rest of them dial by there up on the top of the crawl. But Brad, let's also explain why Steve Kinser starting 16th, the position that he's starting in when he transferred out of the B main. Basically, you have a chance to get your time back behind the dash cars. That means those top 5 rows are locked in according to the finish of the dash. Everybody else then goes back to their time trial laps to fill in the rest of the field, with the exception of the provisionals who are tagging the rear of the field.
Yeah, that's the way it works. It's based on qualifying. If you can come out of the B main, you get to start, you know, toward the middle of the pack, and it's big for these guys as you see them lining up the 4 abreast.
Boy, that's what all the fans have come here to get excited about. They're starting to get on their feet right now on the back straightaway as they go 4 wide.
You know, we talked about earlier in the show about Greg Hodnett, and I'll get to that in just a minute here, about him, whether he feels a lot of pressure. Here he's on the front row. Can he make it 3 in a row?
Let's go to Johnny Gibson, the voice of the World of Outlaws, who is going to give the command that will excite them all.
Williams Grove Speedway, you wanted the best. You got them 4 abreast, often imitated, never duplicated. The greatest show on dirt, the World of Outlaws.
We're in posse country, but they still get excited at this time. Now everybody's up on their feet, waving their hats, waving their hands, waving their firstborn, but not too hard. Getting ready for this one, Brad. You have a favorite? I mean, can you pick one out?
No, I'm telling you, that's the beauty of this, and just it's so competitive here. It's so exciting to see the fans and everybody get into this. Can the posse do it again? Can the Outlaws knock them off finally? You know, it's great.
All right, let's go down to the pits, a quick whip around, and pick the winner, Aaron Crocker-Evernham. Who's going to win this feature event?
I think it's hard to bet against Donnie Schatz. 4 National Open wins, and he confidently told me that he was going to victory lane tonight. Shane, who's your pick?
Well, Aaron, you know, it's sometimes hard to bet against history, and the statistics and numbers are on Donnie Schatz's side. But I think I'm liking the number 14 of Jason Myers. He's 9 points out. He knows what he's got to do, and he wants that first Williams Grove win.
Brad Doty.
You know, just something I forgot about, we talked about earlier in the show. Schatz going after, beating the record of Steve Kinser. He and Steve Kinser have 4 National Open wins. Donnie Schatz has said this is big for him. If he can get 5, that may be a record he can take away from Steve Kinser. Not a lot of records you're going to take from Steve Kinser, and this could be one of them.
So you're still on the fence? You're not picking a winner?
I have to lean toward Donnie Schatz as well. I mean, how can you bet against that guy here at Williams Grove?
And I think we just go ahead and make it a 3-1 vote. Sorry, Shane. Shane went with Myers. I'll go ahead and go with Schatz, and we'll just see what happens. Nobody picks the pole sitter, Greg Hodnett. Could all be very, very wrong. Hodnett's only beaten the World of Outlaws twice already this season. He goes from the pole here. 40 long laps for the Williams Grove National Open. We hear the guys in the truck. They have the Wild Child, Jack Hodenschild, from row number 3. The green is in the air for the 47th National Open. Trouble on the front straightaway. Hodenschild upside down. Violent flip.
See him moving around, though. Luckily, that was a nasty flip, a vicious crash, but it looked like the car bounced front end to front end or back end. Not a lot of roll cage impact.
The top wing absorbs a bunch of that. That's one of the safety aspects that come into it in wing sprint car racing. You see Jack moving around there in the cockpit. Brad, you know Jack as well as anybody. He's certainly had his share of wild rides during his career. He is, after all, the wild child. Let's see what happened if we can figure something out. He's a little sideways there. He's in the third row, Pink Panther on top of his car.
Oh.
Whoa, he just got driven into by Mark Smith.
Mark Smith comes from the inside of the racetrack right up into the side of Hodenshield. Oh, Steve Kinzer gets into the back of the aeronaut to 25. Look at all the cars banging and beating on the inside
and
here.
we need to correct ourselves. That was Chad Layton, not Mark Smith. Mark Smith was at the rear of the field. That's Chad Layton in the Middlesworth number 7. But yeah.
Sorry about that, Chad. Or Mark, yeah.
Chad just kind of violently veered to the right. I also just saw in that replay that Craig Kinzer got some damage to his left rear wheel as part of the action here. Well, watch the Middlesworth car. It's way down on the inside, and watch it just steer. As Jason Myers said, at the end of these straightaways, the car wants to do something evil. And it may have done just that right there, and unfortunately, Jack Hodenshield got the worst of it.
Yeah, I got a little ahead of myself there, you know, calling this thing. I mean, just watching the replays here as we're studying this, cars all over the racetrack on the inside beating and banging on each other. And I kind of think, you know, I said it looked like a pretty easy, but, you know, I'm not sitting in that race car.
Let's go down to Shane Andrews.
Well, guys, I'm down here in turn number 1, and this car is absolutely destroyed. Front end torn right out of it. Roof is, the wing is collapsed. This car is a write-off for the Carnahan Motorsports team. Aaron?
Yeah, I'm down here in the work area in the back of the pits. Craig Kinzer, they replaced the left rear tire. It was cut open. Some wing damage. Looks like he was part of that incident, but I think he'll be in good shape to get him back out there.
Yeah, Aaron, if we could see guys in the truck that replay a couple more times even, because there were so many things going on, and the 20 car of Craig Kinzer had some contact with somebody right after Hod goes flipping. There's the contact between Layton and Hodenshield. And then Steve Kinzer also and Aaron Ott getting together. And there's Craig going to go up over or get into Craig Delansky, it looked like.
Boy, it's just hard to keep up with everything that's going on down. Another look at it from a different angle.
I see Craig Kinzer checks up a little bit, and it looks like Delansky gets into the back of the 20 car. Let's see it again in real time. Here's the start of the race. Wow. Violent stuff. Well, Aaron's down there around Chad Layton's car right now, and maybe we can try to figure out why Layton veered so far to the right.
I'm not sure what happened first, but both rear torsion arms are broken. Torsion stops are gone. I'm not sure what created it, but certainly a lot of work to do here to get him back on the track.
They continue to work with Chad Layton. Looks like Chad Kimenaw down there pitching in.
Yeah, a lot of damage to the back. You see the torsion arms there, the aluminum arm you see there. Torsion bar completely gone out of the right rear of the car.
And now back to Shane Andrews, who can give us an update on the condition of Jack Hodenshield.
Yeah, Jack was able to climb out of the car under his own power, and he walked to the ambulance, of course, with a violent ride like that, guys. Precautionary measures, just want to take him and give him an observation and all the good stuff, but he was able to get out of the car and walk to the ambulance on his own power.
Well, Jack Hodenshield, the 51-year-old Sprint Car Hall of Famer, just recently inducted into the National Sprint Car Hall of Fame.
And earlier tonight, we saw that car, Jack, about as fast as he's ever been here in years, and had a good opportunity tonight. Unfortunately, it's all out the window now.
Well, we'll hope that everything's all right with Jack Hodenshield as they take the R19 back toward his pit area. We'll get everything cleaned up here on the front straightaway and get ready for a complete restart of the Williams Grove National Open. Still 40 long laps to go. We are back at Williams Grove. Some damage to Steve Kinzer's front wing on the Quaker State car number 11. And now when he jumps back up to speed here, we're not in racing condition. They're just racing up toward the yellow. Yeah, the wing mount, it looks like, has given way. and falling down, how much is that going to affect him?
It's going to affect him a bit. We've seen the front ends of these cars come up all night long, and that's really going to be bad there with that thing laying down on the nose like that.
All right, let's get an update on the status of Jack Hodenschild with Aaron Crocker-Abernathy.
Jack, that was a wild ride. Most importantly, how are you? Are you all right?
I feel all right. Just got together with somebody going down the straightaway there and got in a fence and took a pretty good hit.
Yeah, do you have any idea what caused it? I know everything happened so fast.
It happened pretty fast. Just got together with somebody and got in a fence and it just took off.
Well, we're just glad to see that you're doing all right. Back to you, Bobby and Brad.
We're looking at it one more time, and it's hard to tell. It doesn't appear that anything broke on Chad Layton.
No, it looks like it just maybe misjudged. But watching that replay, Hodenschild's car did something I've never seen before. It flipped on the left side and started flipping before he even got in the wall. That's kind of really unusual.
Wow, look at the damage to the R19. And Jack, you know, after a flip like that, Brad, you'd have to, I'd be crying and carrying on, you know, and Jack's just like, well,
just another day at the office.
Another flip.
Yeah.
Oh, my.
He's a pretty tough guy.
Oh, he's a very tough guy. One of the greatest of all time behind the wheel of a sprint car, no doubt about it. The wild child, Jack Hodenschild. He is out of the National Open. We reset. Greg Hodnett will try once again up at the front of the field to take off with the lead of this event. Greg Hodnett and Brian Monteith will be up there in the front. Jason Myers and Donnie Schatz. Steve Kins, we're going to keep an eye on that green number 11 with the damage to the front wing. Could affect him the first time he barrels down into turn number 1 at speed.
Especially if he's behind someone. We talked about that aero push. Aaron Crocker talked about that earlier. With that nose wing down, no air is going to get up under it to help pull that front end down. So he could really have his hands full.
So be alert to the drivers that are right behind Steve Kinser or beside him. What would
you know, I don't think you really think about that as a driver. You know, you can't worry about that. You just try to pick your spots and maybe the guys around him have gone up there and seen that, but I don't think it's going to be a major issue. They know Steve Kinser's sitting behind the wheel too, and
Joey Saldana
makes
there
up for a lot. Yeah, Joey Saldana back there
at the rear of the field taking a provisional. You also saw Brad Sweet back, Armor All on board with Saldana.
Two Casey Kane cars.
Watching him work the wheel. We're about set for our restart now. They bring him in at a snail's pace through turn number 3 up to turn number 4. And Greg Hodnett jumps on it first. The green flag flies, and we're back in action here for the Williams Grove National Open. Hodnett the leader. Brian Monteith up on the top of the racetrack, but Hodnett's going to lead him down the back straightaway over Brian Monteith. Schatz and Myers side by side. And trouble in turn number 2. It's Brian Leppo. Brian Leppo, who we just saw in our last chance showdown, pointing the wrong direction over in turn number 2, and that'll bring out the yellow flag once again.
Looks like he got together with a car back there. You know, after a big crash like we saw on the front straightaway, sometimes you have to be concerned about the shrapnel, basically the pieces parts laying out there on the racetrack. Did the safety crews and the track workers get all that stuff picked up? So that could be a concern, maybe something laying out there to cut one of these tires.
They try to do the best job they can with the safety crew members to police the racetrack down there and get any of the scraps that might have been left on the racetrack. Let's see if we can figure out what happened here to Brian Leppo.
Similar to what we've seen down in turn 3 all night. Got in there really hard. Craig Kinser doing a tremendous job.
A little road racing pylon maneuver there by Craig Kinser.
Now that was a real wiggle waggle there. Back and forth to get around. Great job by him. But guys, they tighten these race cars up, and they're tight, and then you hit a slick part of the racetrack and you lose control.
Shane Andrews.
Yeah, Brian Leppo during that red flag period came down pit road for a safety precaution. Talked to his crew chief, the Bandit Steve Smith. He said they wanted to just tighten up the right wheel, so they were down here for a little precautionary measure.
And Leppo back out.
Chad Layton is still sitting here in the work area. This yellow flag gave him another opportunity to work on the car. Not sure they're going to be able to get back out, but you never know. Maybe there'll be another yellow, so they're down here working real hard.
Yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right, Aaron. You never know. Could be a yellow flag, could be a red flag. You don't know how long that delay will be, so you keep on working until they get a few laps in at least. You're going to have to fix the thing anyway because there's always another race, right, Brad?
Well, and just looks at that car, just to even roll it back in the trailer, they got to fix it. So they're down there continuing working and maybe get it back out. It looks like they've got a lot of work to do yet, though.
So we'll try it once again. Will the third time be the charm? Greg Hodnett jumps on it each and every time. He gets a little bit of an advantage there over Brian Monteith. Sides and Myers nearly make contact going into turn number 1. Excuse me, Schatz and Myers nearly make contact going into turn number 1, and Schatz takes off in 3rd position.
Yeah, you got to wonder Monteith that the engine's stumbling there, that he couldn't keep up with Greg Hodnett on all these starts.
Everybody feeling their way through right now, trying to figure out a safe spot on the racetrack to maneuver to get through lap number 1. Battle up front for the lead, Greg Hodnett and Brian Monteith. It was close coming out of turn number 2. And now it is Hodnett who has a couple car length advantage over Brian Monteith. Down the front straightaway they go.
Like everybody's kind of settling down a little bit, trying to get some laps under their belts here after these first couple starts and problems that we had. You know, I talked probably about the cars and the things they do, but the back straightaway is where the car really jumps around, because the gate back there where the cars and the rigs come across that infield, a lot of times there's a bump back there, and that's where you see the cars really bounce as they go over that. Watch it right there.
Oh, yeah.
Spot in the racetrack where the cars bounce as they go over that.
More trouble. Aaron Ott. This is in turn number 1. The 25A pointing in the wrong direction after a quick spin. The son of the engine builder, Don Ott. Aaron Ott coming to a stop, and that'll bring out the yellow flag once again. Aaron, a successful racer in the 358s.
He did actually win a 358 and a 410 race earlier here this year at Williams Grove.
Boy, what a tough place to cut your racing teeth at the Grove. You know what I mean? Come in and race against guys like Fred Raymer and when he's around here, Lance DeWeese and Todd Schaefer and Steve Smith. Good bunch of racers out here.
He had a little help.
Yes, he did. Sam Hafertepe Jr. Oh, Tim Schaefer nearly gets a piece of the action there in the 83 car. And Aaron Ott thought better of it, huh? It looked like he probably could have kept the 25 car going, but had he done that, it really could have been a mess.
Similar to what we saw with Cody Dare earlier, and I explained a lot of times, you know, with the driver, you got to make that split-second decision, whether you stand on the gas, try to keep it running, or you get out of the gas. And Aaron Ott saw the other cars barreling down on him, and as you're right, he did the smart thing and stopped.
Aaron Ott back up to speed. Speed report every Sunday night, tomorrow night at 7 p.m. Lee Diffie and Ralph Shaheen for all the latest motorsports news. They'll bring you up to speed. NASCAR at Kansas, Formula One Japan, MotoGP in Portugal, and much more. It's the Speed Report, Sunday night, 7 p.m. Eastern, exclusively on Speed.
One thing I noticed, in-car camera here going down the front straightaway, gouges out of the racetrack where Hoddenschild's crash took place. There's actually big divots in the racetrack where that race car of his dug into the track.
Looks like the racetrack has been cleared. Aaron Ott pulling back into position, so we should be looking at a green flag probably the next time around. Actually, the light's out right now. We're going green. Hodnett leads them down the front straightaway. Everybody has to stay single file nose to tail on the outside of that cone. Schatz trying to make a move around Brian Monteith as Jason Myers chases. Look at Schatz carry the right front all the way down the back straightaway.
Again, that's because the winging down on the left rear and he's behind the car. We didn't have a lot of air over the nose wing.
It's cool to see. It's just tremendously cool to look at. Look at that.
One of the few racetracks in the world in a sprint car that you'll do that, to carry that right front that high. Again, because of the tremendous speeds they carry on these long straightaways.
Danny Lasowski has gotten by Jason Myers. Lasowski into the 4th position. Myers trying to race back now on the high side of the racetrack, but Danny Lasowski's got something working down low in the Casey's General Store, car number 6. Let's keep in mind again that Barry Jackson, his tuner from JEI Chassis, is from these parts, and Danny said that he felt like that would give him a little bit of an advantage going in here because Barry Jackson has so much local track knowledge.
Sure can't hurt anything, can he? To have him be part of this team.
3rd, 4th, and 5th shots, Lasowski and Jason Myers. Lasowski, a past champion of the World of Outlaws Sprint Car Series powered by Quaker State. Myers really slinging it into turn number 1 that time as he tries to track down Danny Lasowski. Lasowski is rolling nicely around the bottom. Whoa, right in front of him there, a car running slowly.
Bobby, you can look at the racetrack, how much it's drying out now, the top groove, when you start to see that black. Right there, the slick part. You see Lasowski right on the bottom of the racetrack trying to keep that left side tires in some moisture. Boy, the cushion moving up, down in 3 and 4, getting closer and closer to that outside wall.
Myers and Lasowski side by side down the front straightaway, battle for 4th into turn number 1. Neither driver gives an inch. Give it to Jason Myers around the outside.
Wow, Lasowski had been running the bottom in 1 and 2 and went in there, really had a run on Jason Myers, and they about got together. He had really no choice but let the car drift up, take the cushion around through 1 and 2.
Schatz gaining on second place, Brian Monteith. Schatz going after Monteith down on the bottom. Monteith still has the momentum around the outside.
Schatz's car, what we call hanging right there, the back of the car hanging out a little bit.
Oh! Popped the tire on the left rear, and Brian Monteith is into the wall and upside down. Paul McMahon gets a piece, so does Sam Hafertepe Jr. Red flag is out.
Had to wonder about that. The 21 car laying there really in the fast groove of the racetrack, roll cage facing oncoming traffic. You just knew it was a matter of time the guys could come in there. Luckily, it looks like everybody's climbing out.
Monteith had the left rear tire pop, it looked like, as he was going into turn number 3. That sent his car sideways and up into the wall, and left Paul McMahon looked like he had her woed down pretty good and was going to be able to avoid it, but Sam Hafertepe Jr. I guess didn't see what was going on, and he piled in. That's Sam Hafertepe Jr. on his side there in the 15 car.
You know, Bobby, when you say maybe not see it, another thing with the wings, when you're following a car down the racetrack, sometimes when something happens in front of you, the wing of the car in front of you will block the vision.
There goes the left rear. That was a hard hit into the wall, too. I mean, he's at top speed at the end of the straightaway. That left rear pops. He goes right into the wall. Now you see McMahon. Whoa. And then Hafertepe, nowhere to go. One more look at it. Watch the left rear tire on Monteith's 21. It's already low.
Boy, of all places, you know, as you enter the corner, that thing blew out, turned him around. Now, if that car would have come on back over onto the wheels.
Here's a look real time at what just happened there to 35-year-old Brian Monteith from Phoenixville, Pennsylvania, the two-time Lincoln Speedway champion, including this year. Ouch.
And you can hear it.
Yeah. Didn't sound good at all. Hafertepe quickly putting the steering wheel out. And we continue to await word on the condition of all the drivers over there that were involved in the accident in turn number 3. Hafertepe's car has now been righted. And it looks like McMahon is ready to go off on the hook back towards the pit area. They're going to take him to the work area. And Shane Andrews has Brian Monteith.
Brian, you had a good night going. What happened to end up flipping over?
Left rear went to shredded, I guess, entering 3, and yeah, the rest is history.
Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm fine.
He's going to take the long walk back through the pit to his area. You can see he can still flash a smile here tonight, guys.
The man known as the Edge walking away after a tough ride over there in turn number 3. Takes him out of second position. Aaron Crocker-Evernham has Sam Hafertepe.
Hey, Sam, looks like you were just a victim of a racing incident. You had nowhere to go. Is that what happened?
They were just stopped there in 3 and 4. You know, we were committed up high, and this place got such long straightaways and can't get woed down fast enough. But, you know, we had an awesome car in the feature. We were already coming up through there, almost in the top 10 already. So, you know, nothing to be mad about.
Yeah, you definitely had a strong run going.
There is Monteith's car going off on the hook. We've heard from Sam Hafertepe Jr. They've taken Paul McMahon to his pit area right now where they're working on his car. We see the replay once again.
Helpless feeling.
Looked like the left rear was already low, though, was it not, Brad, going in there? Or
well, they run them pretty low, only 4 to 5 pounds, but I don't know if it maybe peeled it off the rim as he went in there, you know, the low enough that he got in the choppy part of the racetrack and it actually peeled the tire off. And that's what shredded it, but it looks like it just shredded and came apart as he entered the corner.
Now, we could speculate for days and days, but it could be, like you said, some of the scraps left on the track that could cut a tire, right?
It could have been, and it was low enough that, you know, you run them low, they build a tremendous amount of heat, and they just explode like that and blow apart.
But way too early in the event, wouldn't you say, for it to have been just a tire wear?
Yes, we don't have a tire wear issue. The racetrack's not abrasive. We don't see a rubber down condition, so something, either cut that thing and it was low, like you said, or
This is the lap prior. You're going to see some smoke. The guys in the truck are telling us, Roger Vincent, our director, saying he sees smoke already off of that tire. Yeah, it's standing up pretty good there. That was again, this is the lap previous.
Yeah. See it, but it looks like it's up there. It doesn't look like it's. Well, it is low. Yes, it is. Yep. But look at shots. I mean, it almost looks the same way under load like that. The sidewalls are bound up, twisted on those things. With only maybe 5 pounds of air in there, it doesn't take a lot to wrinkle the sidewall.
Steve Kinser's going to take advantage, hopefully, for himself. They've already got that front wing back up. Let's go down to the pits and check in now on the third guy that was involved in that, and that was Paul McMahon.
Paul McMahon, they're changing the front axle and the nose wing on your car. First of all, are you okay?
Yeah, I'm fine. I just got in there real hot, and didn't hear nothing over the radio about anybody crashed, and just tried to spin it to avoid him, and somebody else collected me.
Everything's happened so fast, not enough time to react?
It's just, it's kind of a blind corner down there in the center of the corner when you're running down in there, and, just didn't see the car upside down. We're running in the top 10 right now and was running real well, and, it's just a shame this Indy Speed Parts car, or Race Parts car, has been running really good all night, and, HP Engine's been giving me great horsepower. I just want to say hi to my family, say I'm all right, and give the thoughts and prayers out to Travis Root's family.
Aaron?
Yeah, I'm over here with Donnie Schatz. He's just having a quick word with his crew chief. Donnie, you're running in second. Your car looks really strong. You think you can hold up your promise and get that thing to victory lane?
Yeah, I was glad I wasn't in that one. I could see that guy's tire going down there for a couple laps, and I didn't expect that to happen, but I was pretty lucky not to end up in that deal. So I got a good car. I just got to wait for the car to come to me. Obviously, we're going to have to move around on the racetrack a little bit because it's pushing the top up. So we'll just see what happens. I don't know how many laps are in, but I know there's a long way to go, so we'll just do our best.
Donnie Schatz looking at perhaps if he can get up there and make a move on Greg Hodner, win this, another $50,000 payday. Schatz is a character. We talked with him a little bit yesterday in the pits. We were rained out, by the way, here yesterday in the preliminary event for the Williams Grove National Open, and I asked Donnie if he had already made his plans for the winter, because a lot of times the World of Outlaws drivers are headed to Australia, down under, they go to New Zealand, wherever, to do some racing. And Donnie said he hadn't exactly had his itinerary filled out, but he was going. There's no doubt about it, because he needed some winter cash. That's what he told me. He's got a new swimming pool that he said will double as an ice rink in Fargo during the winter months. So,
they might be doing more ice skating than swimming.
Oh boy. And Donnie's dad, Danny, is also getting involved, it looks like, in the promotion game sometime here real soon around their home parts there, Red River Valley Speedway. I think we can see Danny Schatz sometime pretty soon making some big changes to that racetrack, even possibly. That's if we're hearing that correctly.
All kinds of things and rumors out there going on.
Yeah, boy, there's never a shortage of stuff to talk about. Let's go down to Shane Andrews and see what he's got going on.
Greg Hodnett, the race leader, 10 laps in. Everything going according to plan so far?
Yeah, no, it's all right now. I mean, obviously we have to get our stuff together here to keep them guys behind us. I mean, I'm just trying to save my tires. It's a long race. Trying to keep the car under me. And we're just going to do the best we can, see what it works out.
Greg Hodnett has the #1 spot for the restart.
Greg Hodnett, 41 career wins here at the Williams Grove Speedway, including a couple over the World of Outlaws already this season. So we're under red flag conditions here in our 40-lap at Williams Grove National Open. We've got 10 of those laps in the books, 30 long ones to go. We're coming back with more from Williams Grove. Williams Grove, the National Open. Lots of car carnage here tonight, Brad.
Boy, it's been a full moon, and it's shown on the racetrack. All kinds of things happening.
The harvest moon is taking its toll. There's Todd Schaefer getting one bent up. Lance DeWeese gets himself sideways. Brett Marks gets a piece of that. Sammy Swindell, ooh.
Big misjudgment there as he gets into Adam Wilt.
And then this one. Chad Layton drifts up the racetrack a long way from the inside pole all the way up the racetrack. Jack Hodenshield with nowhere to go. And Hod is the victim on that one. And then this one just happened. We'll lay out, just listen to this. Yikers.
Yeah, you kind of hear all that metal crunching as they get together down there.
It just confirms what I've believed all along. You sprint car drivers are a little bit crazy, Brad.
You don't have to be, but it helps.
Yeah, I think you are. That's the conclusion that I've come to. Don't forget, tonight, the Warriors of Formula One return to the land of the rising sun. They're at Suzuka. Big time crash there yesterday. You're not going to want to miss the highlights of that one. Formula One, the Japanese Grand Prix, live tonight, 12:30 a.m. Eastern, only on Speed. Yeah, that is just a little ways down the road, just around the corner, just around the bend. Yellow flag is out now. They've got the cars pushed off and ready to get back into the running order. When we restart, Greg Hodnett is going to be the leader of this race, but he's going to have Donnie Schatz right on his rear nerf for the restart. You anticipate we're going to see some type of move for the lead, or you think Schatz, like he said during the interview there, that he still needs to wait on his car a little bit longer?
If it's there, he'll obviously take advantage of it, but I don't think with 30 laps to go, he'll push the issue. Bobby, we talk about almost every TV race we have. Donnie Schatz and Ricky Warner, that car gets faster the longer the race is. They work for the last 10 laps of the race, so I don't think you'll see Schatz do anything stupid here. If he falls in line, he'll just ride there for a while and watch what Hodnett does and try to find maybe where his weakness is.
For those of you who are sprint car historians, you'll know that Ricky Warner spent some time with Carl Kinzer, the great Carl Kinzer, who was such a great mechanic, won a million races with that guy, Steve Kinzer. And when you talk about Carl Kinzer, the car always got faster towards the end of the race. There's that front wing change now for Steve Kinzer. That'll make a big difference for him.
Yes, it will. And the old saying that it doesn't pay to win the first lap. You got to win that, be leading on that last lap to cash the check, and that was always Carl's attitude, and Ricky Warner's followed right in his footsteps.
Well, we miss Carl Kinzer out here on the World of Outlaws Sprint Car Series circuit. He always had some colorful comments to say. Of course, won a lot of races with his son Mark as well, championships with Mark Kinzer. We miss Mark out here as well. I bet they're watching tonight. Hello, Mark and Carl Kinzer in Olytic, Indiana. Shane Andrews, what's going on down there right now?
Well, you know, guys, as I watch this race from the pit area, there's one thing that just absolutely amazes me. It's Fred Raymer. He's the all-time winningest driver here at the Speedway with 81 wins, 403 career wins, just inducted into the Hall of Fame, and he's never won a national open. That absolutely baffles me.
That is a stumper. I'm right there with you. You know, in doing my preparation for this race this year, I came across that too and thought to myself, is that right? Fred Raymer's never won the National Open.
But doesn't that just tell you and prove how tough it is to win this race?
No doubt about it. We are set for a restart now. Hodnett with Donnie Schatz right on his rear nerf. What's going to happen as they go into turn number one? Will Schatz take a shot? Not in position to do so. Hodnett protects down low. Schatz right behind him. Jason Myers is there.
But they both slid high, opened the door for Lasowski on the inside.
Myers taking a look at Schatz. They're side by side. Off of turn number 4 from the VP Racing Speed Cam.
Boy, Myers' car looked pretty good to run through the slick part of the middle of the racetrack there in 3 and 4.
Schatz still right there holding down second. Now Lasowski back by Myers for third. Lasowski and Myers continue that fight. Boy, Lasowski looked like he may have been a little bit loose going into the corner that time. He almost had that thing too sideways. It worked out for him, though.
Racetrack is just going to get slicker and slicker.
Pat Cannon making some moves down there on the bottom as Paul McMahon is going to tuck the number 13 car down off the racing groove and tuck it away. Pat Cannon puts a move on Jason Myers, and you better take a look at Pat Cannon, our Quaker State quick timer.
A lot of times we've seen it with a quick timer. That's the highlight of his night. You know, you qualify, you start behind these guys, and that's about it for your night. Pat Cannon proving that you can set quick time, still go forward. He's running 4th spot right now in the National Open here at Williams Grove.
Doing a nice job. Jason Myers is 5th. That's Fast Freddie Raymer running in 6th. Craig Delansky is there in the 7th position. Craig Delansky's doing a heck of a job. Brooke Tatnell and Tim Schaefer, you're watching those two go at it right now. That's a battle for 9th.
But look at Todd Schaefer, Tim Schaefer. Yeah, but Todd Schaefer up to 9th. We saw a shot of him in the 88 car.
Well, he's come from deep provisional land. He started 26th.
We had a shot of him, and I said, can that be right? Is he up in there? He is. Is he up in there racing?
Joey Saldana right in front of him. Joey Saldana's up into the 8th position. So a little bit of attrition and some good moves by those guys there at the rear of the field, and they are coming forward, Brad.
A couple of provisional guys taking advantage of burning them, using those provisionals, coming toward the front.
Well, just when Joey Saldana thought that time trials were going to doom him, as Aaron Ott has done a quick spin out but keeps it going in the 25, right in front of your leaders. Your leaders are going to be chasing down that 25 car here any second. There they are. They're right on top of Ott. It's Greg Hodnett in the yellow 22. Ott just goes down a lap in the 25. Donnie Schatz in the 15 running second. Danny Lasowski continues to race third in car number 6, and Pat Cannon in car number 3 is all the way up to 4th.
It's like Donnie Schatz, the 15, has the wing pulled back somewhat there, trying to get more transfer, more downforce to the rear tires.
Turning for the halfway point. They will complete lap number 20, this time by working lap number 20 right now. And it is just as we build it. Posse versus Outlaws. Posse, Greg Hodnett in the lead. Outlaw, Outlaw, Outlaw. Or excuse me, Outlaw, Outlaw, Posse. Second, third, fourth.
I still can't get over talking to Greg Hodnett earlier, asking if he felt like there's more pressure, maybe more the Posse, the fans here. Keep an eye on him because he has won 2 in a row.
Schatz making a move. He tries Hodnett down low. Hodnett has the momentum around the outside, but Donnie Schatz definitely starting to threaten now. The interval just a shade over a half a second. Schatz hitting his marks precisely. He seems to gain in 1 and 2 and down the back straightaway.
Well, that's where that car usually gets so dominant, is through the middle, bottom to the middle of the racetrack, where everybody else has to maybe lean on something, keep those rear tires in some moisture. The 15 car seems to roll the middle of the racetrack extremely well.
19 to go, and Danny Lasowski is definitely stepping up the pace in the 6 car too. He's closing in on Donnie Schatz. Lasowski up on the high, scary side of the racetrack. Usually we see him down low, but he's not messing around tonight, man. He's going after 50,000 for Barry Jackson, JEI, and Casey's General Stores. And the doors open down the back straightaway. Lasowski, big pressure to Schatz. Traffic's got to be a factor here, Brad.
Absolutely will be, Bobby.
We're about maybe a couple laps away. About a quarter straightaway in front of the leader right now is traffic. There you see it.
And the driver that can move around his race car, that he can move around on the racetrack, that'll be key when they get to lap traffic. Who can move off the fast line to try to get by this? You see Schatz moving around. He's really searching around on the racetrack now.
Yeah, he went way low that time, and Lasowski going to try him again down low as Schatz goes high in 1 and 2.
But you can see Schatz with the momentum on the outside, goes back by. Looked like Lasowski went in there, instead of trying that slide job to protect and not overheat those tires, he just tried to get out of the throttle, let the car settle down. And
big run by Schatz on Hodnett into turn number 1. Sorry to cut you off there, Brad, but we've got to move for the lead. Here he is, Donnie Schatz inching in front of the 22, but Hodnett drives it right back by him down the back straightaway into turn number 3. Oh, a slower car on the back straightaway is going to bring out the caution flag and take us out of a fantastic fight for the win here in the National Open.
Wow, now you got to wonder what the tire situation, when they cool off, we have a caution flag like this as the cars are rolling around. So it's Jason
Sides, who's come to a stop in the 7S, and unfortunately for Jason, that may put the skids to a streak that has seen him not finish outside the top 10 since August 7th. That's a heck of a streak.
It really is. He, as we talked earlier, he is having a career year. There's no doubt about that.
So just no word why he stopped there. It looks like everything looks correct on the car. Maybe just lost power.
Yeah, all 4 wheels are rolling, so I don't know if we're trying to get him to the work area or see what he gets. Look at this battle.
Sides was running 15th at the time that Donnie Schatz was sticking his nose underneath Greg Hodnett. Had a nose in front, but Hodnett, Fred Flintstone style up there on the high side, man. You can see his feet moving underneath the belly pan, right?
Trying to get anything he can to get that car up off the corner. Schatz could have forced the issue there and slid up. He had him cleared enough, maybe could have slid up and forced Hodnett to get out of the throttle. Schatz gave him plenty of room. Hodnett goes back by on the outside.
Well, Hodnett certainly is aware that he's there now. If he didn't know before, he knows now.
Well, one thing about Williams Grove, the scoreboard is down in the middle of turns 3 and 4. These long straightaways, as a driver, you can see that as you go into turn 3. And especially under caution flag, you ride around here and you can tell, and he knew Schatz was back there.
So it's hot. There is that scoreboard that sits at the end of turn number 3. You run down the back straightaway, you can look right at it at the far end of the racetrack. The big paperclip here at Williams Grove. Although one end's a little bit bigger than the other.
Yeah, take that paper clip, squeeze one end a little bit. Turns 3 and 4 is a lot tighter than 1 and 2.
Back to green. 15 laps to go in this one as we continue on in the National Open. Shots to the extreme high portion of the racetrack, but Greg Hodnett got a great restart.
But did you see that? Greg Hodnett went to the bottom. Shots showed him the line. And, you know, when he got by like that, now Greg Hodnett, that's sometimes when you're the leader, Bobby, of the race. You're out there riding around, you don't know where the line's changing or who's running where behind you. Shots gets under him, but now Hodnett back up to the top. Maybe you heard him on the red flag saying he's kind of waiting a little bit.
Jason Myers underneath Danny Lasowski, trying to get underneath him for third. Myers knows he has to keep pace with Shots in that battle for the points championship. If it ended right where they're at right now, Shots would gain 2 points on Myers and make it an 11-point margin heading into the next event. Myers continuing to run third. Lasowski is fourth. There's your leaders, Hodnett and Donnie Schatz. Will they see traffic again? With 11 laps to go, Brad, it may be doubtful.
Yeah, I don't think they'll get back to lap traffic. Boy, and Schatz really carrying that right front wheel.
Schatz up on the high part of the racetrack now, following Hodnett around. Jason Myers safely into third.
From a driver's standpoint, you know where the lap counter is, and we talked about Schatz getting so fast. But from a driver's standpoint, you've got to really focus on what you're doing and not overdrive the race car, not try to get those tires overheated. But you know the time's running out also.
Hodnett and Schatz, 1 and 2 with 10 laps to go in the $50,000 to win National Open. World of Outlaws Sprint Car Series powered by Quaker State. The biggest race of the year for this series, without question. Schatz taking another look at Hodnett. Drove it in deep and cut it a little harder that time.
Lost some time, though, as he slid up across the racetrack.
Scrubbed off a little speed there, didn't he?
But he's trying something. He's trying something. You can't just sit back there and ride, and that's not what he's doing. He's moving around on the racetrack.
Trouble on the back chute for Brian Leppo in the 71 car off the pace. We'll see if he's going to be able to get that car off the racetrack so we can stay green. So far, so good. The green flag stays out with 8 laps to go. Still a long way, about a straightaway away from traffic. Doubtful that they'll get there before the end of this one. It's come down to a member of the Pennsylvania Posse versus a member of the World of Outlaws. The man who has defeated the World of Outlaws the last 2 times here. Trying to hold back Donnie Schatz, the 3-time and defending series champion.
Oh, Schatz over the cushion a little right there, Bobby. Seems like he's faster down here in 3 and 4 than Hodnett, but he just can't quite get up. Right here, he loses some ground as he slides across. But that's as close as he's been to him down the front straightaway for a while.
Yes, it is. 0.4 of a second there that last time, just a shade under half second. 2/5, Brad. 2/5 of a second.
Break it down, Bobby.
I'll break it. Common denominators even. We've got 5 laps to go in the Williams Grove National Open. They may get to traffic. I don't know, Brad.
Boy, the Pennsylvania crowd here is on their feet. Oh, we got a car slow down the back straightaway.
Oh, and the yellow flag comes out. It's Tim Schaefer who's come to a stop, and that'll take traffic out of the question for sure with 4 laps to go in the Williams Grove National Open. Tim Schaefer in the 83X looking down in the cockpit there. The All-Stars champion. No word on what may be the problem there with Tim Schaefer and his machine as he's just come to a stop. Well, Hodnett's lead was 0.4 of a second the last time by. Yeah, that'll go right out the window now, and Schatz will be able to pull right back up on the rear end of the 22 car for the restart. And let's go down to Shane Andrews, get an update from the pits.
We're down here with Greg Hodnett's crew chief, Lee Stauffer. Lee, you were just out on the track. What were you trying to tell Greg?
Well, he's been moving around a little bit. I'm just trying to keep him comfortable, keep the tires underneath us. We got 4 more laps. If we can imaginary slide job here, get down to the bottom quicker than this kid can, I think we'll be all right. So we're just trying to save the tires and roll on.
Tire strategy down here with the 22 team, guys.
Good stuff. We appreciate it. We've got to talk about some of the movers. I know there's a great battle up front, Brad, but we have to give a shout out right now to a couple of guys. Fred Raymer he's moved up 13 spots. He started 18th. He's now running 5th. Craig Delansky started 24th. He is in 7th. He's plus 17 right now. Todd Schaefer took a provisional, started 26th, and is running in the 8th spot. So he's plus 18. And how about Joey Saldana? Joey Saldana started 25th, and he now runs 9th. So a lot of these guys not getting the love because we have such a great battle up front between Donnie Schatz and Greg Hodnick. But we definitely want to acknowledge these drivers that have done such a great job in coming from the rear of the field up through.
Yeah, maybe Saldana earlier, struggled so bad he might have thought, well, this point thing might be over tonight, but he's salvaging and gaining valuable points as he races his way up through the field.
And you never know what can happen here on the full moon night at Williams Grove here for the final few laps of this one. All right. If there's ever a time for Schatz to make a big move, this is it on the restart. We'll see what happens. The green flag flies. Hodnick is able to create some distance once again between himself and Donnie Schatz. Schatz takes a big flyer up on the top of the racetrack, but Hodnick pulls away, Brad.
Boy, he sure did. Made a nice run through 1 and 2. Did Hodnick, ran the bottom of the racetrack the short way around. The car hooked up. Now Myers battling up there with Schatz.
Fred Raymer just put a slider on Daniel Lasowski to take over 4th position. Raymer in the 51 into 4th. Shuffles Lasowski back to 5th. Pat Cannon now back to 6th. Myers coming after Schatz. Keep in mind that points battle. It's a 9-point separation, but Jason, if he could pass Schatz, could cut it to 7 points going into the next event.
And Myers definitely getting faster these last 5 to 10 laps as he's gained a couple of spots.
2 to go.
What about Greg Hodnick maybe sweeping the World Outlaws
season at Williams Grove Speedway so far to date? They'll run a makeup feature after this feature event tonight. A makeup for the Summer Nationals. 1 lap to go. Greg Hodnick, can he do it? Originally from Memphis, Tennessee. Oh, a big crash. All kinds of trouble. We've got cars upside down. Brooke Tatnell, Craig Delansky, and I believe Todd Schaefer. Is that Todd Schaefer? I think that is Todd Schaefer. Definitely the 25 of Tatnell, the 27C of Delansky.
Boy, if that's Todd Schaefer, went through 1 race car already.
Well, they were all running it about in the same. Delansky was running 8th and Schaefer was 7th. So, and Tatnell was 11th. It is Todd Schaefer. So Schaefer and Delansky is how it started. Brooke Tatnell gets a late piece.
And so Brad squeezed through there with his wing, just clipped the, or his tire just clipped the wing of.
With the cage exposed like that, sitting there, that could have been tragic. So they tipped Todd Schaefer's car back over onto all 4s. And it's been a rough night for Todd Schaefer.
Boy, Todd Schaefer, we talked about it, taking a provisional and trying to make things happen, worked his way up to where was he, in the top, running 7th. And
Craig Delansky moving around, still sitting in the car, but we see him moving around in the cockpit of car number 27C. The concern right now is for Todd Schaefer and car number 88 safety crew over there to take a look at the man who is the leader in the Williams Grove Speedway track point standings. Schaefer from Millerstown, Pennsylvania, a 47-year-old driver. He's already been crowned the Port Royal champion for 2009. Schaefer's first and only World of Outlaws win came at Selinsgrove in 1991.
Saw the vicious hit. He took Steve Kinzer in the heat race earlier, and now another big hit.
We can see he's moving around there in the cockpit. He is talking with members of the safety crew.
A lot of times, Bobby, on a big hit like this, it literally just knocked the wind out of you, and it jars your body so hard, an impact like that. It just takes you a while to kind of get refocused and get your bearings straight.
The 25 car going off on the hook. Brooke Tatnell's machine. Well, we'll continue to hope for the best for Todd Schaefer, and we'll certainly follow up on a report on what's going on over there. But right now, let's go down to Aaron Crocker-Evernham, who is standing by with the crew chief on Donnie Schatz's machine.
Ricky Warner, the crew chief, Donnie Schatz's machine. You get one more chance. You got one more restart. Do you think that there's a possibility you can get it?
I don't know. Greg's good here and Lee's good here. They got a good team. It's just a deal. If it opens up the right deal, we'll make a shot at him. If not, I mean, it'll probably end up the way they're running right now.
Is there something an adjustment that you wish you had made? I mean, you seem like you're close. You're right there. You just need that little edge.
This is a brand new car for tonight, and we're just still learning a little bit about it. But here in the second feature tonight, I think we'll be able to get it right.
Maybe Donnie can get by him and keep his promise, get to victory lane.
And again, you heard Ricky reference a second feature. They're actually, believe it or not, once we go off the air, they're going to clean things up here on the racetrack, and then they're going to run a makeup feature from a rained out show in July for the Summer Nationals. And there is good news. Todd Schaefer out of the race car under his own power, walking down across the racetrack. That's what we like to see.
With his wife there with him. Looks like he's stepping pretty high there. He looks like he is okay.
Oh, a bad night for that team. We're going to take a break, sort it all out, and come back with the conclusion of the Williams Grove National Open. Will Greg Hodnett hold on? Will Donnie Schatz pull a rabbit out of the hat? Don't forget Formula One from Japan coming up. 12:30 Eastern time. Yeah, it's not too much longer yet, but definitely you're going to want to stick around for the Japanese Grand Prix live tonight, 12:30 Eastern only on Speed. There is the 27C that Craig Delansky was driving, and we've got some serious damage on that top wing. Shane Andrews.
Down here with Todd Schaefer. Todd, if this was golf, I'm sure you'd ask for a mulligan. You have had one of the roughest nights here. What happened out on the track?
I got raced in the 3 car and blocked me down here and then run right into the side of me up there. So I don't know what the trouble is with them, but we'll have to take care of it.
When you came in, you sat right down and you grabbed your leg. You okay?
Yeah, I hit both of the back of my calves. I don't know on what, but no, I'm all right.
Todd Schaefer, a tough night for the 88 camp.
And Shane, as you were concluding that interview, again, we saw how close Brad Sweet came to having one more car get in to Todd Schaefer. And yeah, you deserve a seat, buddy.
Yeah, he's shaken up. He's a little stiff. He'll 2 hits like this tonight. He'll definitely feel it tomorrow.
There is that top wing on Delansky's car.
I don't care if you're in your 40s or in your 20s. You feel that the next day on it.
There it is, a great look at the
inside of a wing.
Yeah.
Tore the front part of the wing off.
So Craig Delansky is going to be out of it when we return to Williams Grove Speedway. Joey Saldana is going to take advantage of Delansky and Todd Schaefer dropping out. And Joey, when we restart, will restart 7th. He's not out of this points deal yet. We're coming back for the conclusion. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back. The conclusion of the Williams Grove National Open. It's coming down to the wire. Greg Hodnett will take off in the lead, but let's go down to Aaron Crocker, who's keeping an eye on Donnie Schatz, who's going to try to muster one last challenge. Aaron, what could he possibly do?
Yeah, well, they just had the crew out on the track. They changed gears. They moved the right rear end. It's pretty amazing. 2 laps to go in a 40-lap race, and they're out there under a red flag, busting their tails just to change gears and get that one last shot. I think that's pretty remarkable. I guess that's why he's leading the championship points.
Yeah, and you would think, though, also in that points race that this is kind of a risky maneuver. You know, what if they go the wrong way on this, Brad, and he ends up giving up 2nd place and giving up some points as far as the championship is concerned?
Well, he's been saying for how many years now, we go out to win races,
Yep.
let the points take care of themselves, and if that's what they're really doing, they're trying to win this race.
Yep.
And if they happen to win it, they'll get 4 points over whoever runs 2nd. So the points will take care of themselves. And I just wonder the gear, if they move in the right rear and that tightens the right rear corner up, I'd almost bet they want a lower gear to get more RPMs, thinking that, you know, it's going to give me a good launch on the start here to try to make something happen. If he doesn't happen then it may be all over.
So that lower gear will accelerate him quicker or give him more top end?
It'll accelerate him quicker, going to a lower, give him more RPMs on the start to maybe
stay close.
To stay close and maybe try to get under him in 1 and 2. But again, if Hodnett stays in the lead, if they went to lower gear, he'll probably pull away from him at that point.
All right. Greg Hodnett is the leader of the race. Donnie Schatz is running in 2nd. Jason Myers is in the 3rd position. Fred Raymer started 18th. He's moved up 13 positions into 4th. Danny Lasowski sitting in 5th. And then we mentioned Joey Saldana. Pat Cannon's going to be 6th, and Joey Saldana is going to be in the 7th position when we get set to restart. There's your Armor All top 5 after 39 laps. Hodnett, Schatz, Myers, Raymer, and Lasowski. You get a look at it right there. Joey Saldana, as we mentioned, in 7th position. If it ended this way right now, he would only lose 10 more points to Schatz. Schatz finishes 2nd. Joey finishes in 7th. That'd be a 10-point difference there in the 5 positions. But that's really salvaging something when it looked like after his time trial lap earlier tonight that he was in deep trouble.
Well, especially here at Williams Grove. We talked about it in the open. Schatz, the statistics show that he's strong here. Joey has admittedly struggled here. If they can do that, stay within just only losing 10 points the way the night started out, that's almost like a victory to these guys, I would think.
And you wonder how aggressive they're going to be here on the restart, what kind of changes they made, if any, to the Budweiser number 9 machine, as they're going to line up with Pat Cannon right in front of them. Danny Lasowski will be in Joey's viewfinder as well. So it's possible that Schatz could even pick up a couple of more positions and, you know, maybe instead of losing 10 points, he only loses 6 points to Schatz and Myers.
Yeah, we'll have to see what happens here.
The Budweiser number 9, wrenched by Willie Kane, who was cousin to Casey Kane.
I've got to wonder about the mindset of Greg Hodnett. You know, I've led a race at Ascot one time and had 3 caution flags after taking the white flag. And it can drive you nuts because you think you're coming. One more set of corners is all he had to go, and he's going to have the checkered flag. Now he's got to run 2 more laps and hit his marks and not make any mistakes.
Hodnett's a cool, calculating guy, 40 years old, as we mentioned earlier, a bit of a fitness freak, really likes to work out, keep himself in top physical condition. It's paid off through his career. He spent some time on the World of Outlaws tour.
And told me earlier he didn't, you know, again, back to that pressure thing, he didn't feel any extra pressure winning 2 here, whether the fans, people had their eyes on him. I wonder if he's feeling any pressure right now in this restart.
Hodnett, the 1993 World of Outlaws Rookie of the Year, as a matter of fact. He's been a Nationals runner-up in the past. And he's also one of the smart sprint car racers, maybe something you did not know. He's a graduate of what at that time was called Memphis State. Now it's just Memphis University. Has a degree in mechanical engineering. What's the gear going to do for Donnie Schatz? Will it allow him to stay close to Hodnett? As we restart, Hodnett pulls away once again. Schatz goes to the top of the racetrack, but it's a big separation for Greg Hodnett over Donnie Schatz down the back straightaway.
Well, when Schatz run the top of the racetrack like that, I guess if it, you know, the lower gear, definitely that's a long way around up there as the white flag is out.
One more time around. Greg Hodnett leads Donnie Schatz, Jason Myers, and Fred Raymer, your top 4. Down the back chute they go. Under the bridge, into turn number 3, and off of turn number 4. Greg Hodnett does it for the Pennsylvania fans. They're on their feet going crazy as Greg Hodnett sweeps the World of Outlaws events 3 for 3 and wins the National Open and $50,000.
Crew Chief Lee Stauffer there on the left. Man, what a dream season for these guys.
Knoxville National.
Wow.
Look at the crowd.
They love it. Well, you heard Hodnett in the very open of our show. He said it would be, I don't remember his exact words, but something like it would be indescribable to win this event. And let's go down to Shane, who's with the winning crew chief.
Lee Stauffer, you are the winning crew chief for the 2009 National Open. How does it feel?
Well, I'll tell you what, last year was my first time with Cody there. I was pretty happy about that. Cody's a hell of a kid, and I miss working with him. But Greg and I have been here for a lot of years trying to win this race, and this is real exciting. I'm happy for this team that we just joined this year. And, man, what a great feeling. World of Outlaws. Not too many times you can beat the Knoxville Nationals champion, and I'm excited. So everything went well.
Go get to victory lane. Celebrate with your driver.
Boy, they're going to be a happy crew. Jim and Sandy Klein, the car owners, on car number 22. And Greg Hodnett will go over to the scales. He'll have to clear the scales. 1,375 pounds with the driver is what he's going to have to weigh.
And I don't know if this has ever happened in World of Outlaws history that the posse swept every race. Again, they got another race tonight yet, but to this point, to do this, pretty incredible.
A job well done all the way around by Greg Hodnett and his team, Lee Stauffer, and everyone on that crew. There's the scales. Jason Myers going over the scales. He came across the line with a 3rd place finish in the number 14 car. Looks like everything's A-okay, and he cleared the scales, and there he is coming around the back straightaway, and there will be a loud round of applause as he goes on this pace lap all the way around to the front side of the racetrack. Greg Hodnett, biggest win of his career, Brad.
Going by the beer
Beer Hill gang
pulling up there.
Yeah.
Oh, look at this. Going to turn around.
Turn around. Polish victory lap. Pointing at the Beer Hill gang.
This one's for you guys. That's what it looks like what he's telling them.
Push truck in behind to take him all the way around the front side of the racetrack, and there's the winning crew chief. Now let's go down to Aaron.
Donnie Schatz, you came up one short. Those changes you made on the red flag, do you think if you had more laps that those would have worked?
We threw everything at it we had. Just wasn't enough. Kind of, I guess, not a good loser, so I don't know what to say, but just got to thank everybody on this team. These guys worked hard. We threw everything we had at it, and it just wasn't enough. Just wasn't even close.
Do you think that track position is important? If you had started in front of Hodnett, that it would have been a different story?
No, I don't. I'm not a sore loser that way. I'm not going to say that if I'd have started in front of him. I mean, he made good laps, and there was. I think if we wouldn't have had yellows, we maybe would have been in a little different story. We started to move around and kind of showed him where to go. His guys could tell him where to go on them yellows, and that's all part of it. It's just it's part of the gig. Hey, we got beat. It's first loser. It gets better than second loser. So we'll keep our heads up. We got another race to go. We got a long way to come through there. So our night's not over yet.
Let's go down to Shane with the winner.
Greg Hodnett getting ready to climb out of the car. You just won the National Open, man, and you beat the Outlaws 3 in a row. How's it feel?
It feels great. The guys did a great job. This is Lee Salford's second year in a row to win this as a crew chief, and I tell you what, I can't thank enough for Jim and Sandy Klein to give me the opportunity to drive the J&S fabricating macro concrete. Maxim, Hoosier Tires, they did a great job for us. My guys did a great job. I'm just happy to be here.
Come on out and celebrate. We'll get another question with him as he is going to climb out of this potent number 22 machine, the Jim and Sandy Klein owned ride. Greg, come on over here, man. Over those last couple of laps, that restart, were you nervous at all?
Well, I knew Donnie was going to be great. He always is. The guys did a great job in the car. I was really worried about that last restart. The guy said I did a nice job of kind of holding the bottom there, so we're just going to figure out if he was good enough to go around, he was going to go around. But fortunately for us, it worked out for us, and we're standing here in victory lane with you.
Yeah, that's right, man. $50,000. Great reasons to smile, guys.
Craig Hodnett wins the Williams Grove National Open, and we'll hit the break. Come back with a little bit more from Williams Grove. The Pennsylvania Posse fans love it as their guy gets it done for the third time this year. He has beaten the Outlaws. Greg Hodnett, your National Open champion. Don't forget Formula One Japanese Grand Prix coming up 12:30 a.m. Eastern Time. You will not want to miss the Formula One Japanese Grand Prix only on Speed. And let's get to Aaron Crocker-Evernham with Jason Myers.
Jason Myers, third place finish, great points night. It's a tough feature here, 40 laps. How do you feel?
It's always tough out here, but the whole team did a great job tonight to get this DD&I GLR car where it needed to be, and it's just hard to pass. We faded a little bit in the middle of the race and got going towards the end. So we got a good race car. We got another 30-lap feature to come up here tonight, and hopefully we can go out and do a little bit better than that one. I mean, third place is a good run. We're right behind Donnie, so we lost a couple points to him tonight, but it's still a good night, and we're still in this points title, and it's going to come right down to the end, I think.
The points are so close, and you've got some good momentum going. Do you think you have a true shot? I mean, how do you feel about this championship battle?
Well, absolutely. I think we got a shot. We got a great team. Charlie Garrett, Steve Kent, DD&I Media Tile, everybody that's behind us, Elite Landscaping, has given us the tools we need to come out here and compete, and I think we've got the team that can win the championship this year. So, Donnie's a great competitor. To race side by side with a guy that you're racing for a championship for is awesome, and, he's a good, clean competitor, and I hope we can beat him. At the same time, it's great racing him.
Sure is nice to see the World of Outlaws Points Championship coming down to the wire like this.
Yes, it is, Aaron, and you can check out the results. They're going to crawl by on the top of the screen. You can check out those official results. Quaker State Victory Lane, that's where the interview was conducted down there in the Quaker State Victory Lane, and that's going to be our show from the Grove tonight. We certainly hope that you enjoyed it. For more information on the World of Outlaws Sprint Car Series powered by Quaker State, please visit theworldofoutlaws.com or speedtv.com. For Aaron Crocker and Shane Andrews in the pits, and for our entire crew led by producer David Bruner, who played hurt tonight, for the always outstanding Brad Doty, I'm Bobby Gerald saying so long from Central Pennsylvania, and congratulations to our winner, Greg Hodnett. We want to remind you to stay tuned for Formula One at 12:30. Also want to remind you that there's another feature event coming up. If you want to tune in to dirtvision.com, you can do so right now and catch that Summer Nationals makeup feature event. That's it from Williams Grove. Congratulations to Greg Hodnett, and thanks to Speed for an extra.